Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment, regular meeting of July 28, 2026 is now in session. Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice published in the Home News and Tribune on December 24, 2025, and is posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex on December 4, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Carley. Mr. Bradford. Mr. Salmon.
Here.
Mr. Ayotte.
Here.
Mr. Cerrito.
Here.
Mr. Patel.
Here.
Mr. Sadaha.
Here.
Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Here.
And Chairman Kumba.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary, minutes for consideration, please.
Minutes of June 30th, 2026 for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel.
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha.
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion. Madam Secretary, first resolution for consideration.
Z5, 2026 PSE&G for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel.
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha.
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion. Next resolution.
Z9, 2026 Sharon's Patel for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel.
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha.
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion. And the final resolution for adoption.
Z13, 2026 Jeremy Ginethel for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion. Oh, go ahead. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel.
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha.
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. One notice for this evening, case Z6, 2026, Rajesh Kumar Patel at 96 Overbrook Avenue. It was improperly noticed, so they will have to renotice and a new date will be determined. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a regular meeting of the Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment. The board is composed of Edison Township residents appointed by municipal council who volunteer their time and service to the board. The municipal land use law requires a member successfully complete a land use training course administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This board also holds in-house training conducted by our board professionals. The zoning board abides by the provisions of the municipal land use law in addition to our board's bylaws. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board, which differs from the township planning board. Under the municipal land use law, board members are required to be impartial and not allowed to discuss any case prior to being considered at a hearing. All applicants have the opportunity to present their case before the board, along with the opportunity for board members and board professionals to question the applicant and their witnesses. At the conclusion of the applicant's presentation of the case will open to the public. Residents in 200 feet of subject site will be heard, followed by residents from outside of 200 feet. All residents will be sworn in, they'll provide their name and address, and they'll be given 6 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for a rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any commentary being made on the application. Once the commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed the opportunity for cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary which is repetitive or an attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is irrelevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once the public portion is closed, all public comments are ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following summation, the case will go to the board for a decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. The municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act and is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustment, variances are granted when appropriately necessary, following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we're at if we are still in session around 10:30 p.m. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting of anyone while they are speaking. The chair will not tolerate any outbursts by applicants, professionals, or the public. Further, since most cases are being recorded by a court reporter, I ask that speakers do not speak over one another. First on our agenda is a closed session. Madam Secretary?
This is for Z46, 2017, Care 1 litigation.
Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go in closed session.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The board will adjourn to closed session. We should not The board will return to session. Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z15, 2026, Twan Nugent at 47 Stony Road. Applicant is seeking a bulk variance to construct a rear addition to the existing single-family dwelling. The following standards have not been met. Max building coverage required is 23%, proposed is 33%. Max deck coverage required is 4%, proposed is 5.5%. Affected property is located in the RB zone, designated as block number 1147, lot number 12 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Tuan Nguyen. I'm the homeowner of 47 Stony Road. Thank you for your time tonight. All right. My family and I have been part of Edison community for many years, and our current home is only 3 minutes away from this property. So I'm here requesting approval for a bulk variance to construct a rear addition and a rear deck for my existing single-family home. The application requests a max building coverage from 23% to 33%, and a deck max coverage from 4% to 5.5%. So the purpose of this project is to relocate my elderly parents so they can live closer to us. My mother has fallen on stairs multiple times in her previous home. So having a bedroom on the first floor is essential for her safety. So living nearby will allow our family to provide daily care and respond quickly whenever they need help. And also the rear deck provide a safe outdoor space for my elderly parents and allow our family to spend time together outside. So I'd like to present 3 exhibits. So I grab a mic.
You could, they're for distribution to the board?
Yeah.
You could just hand them to the secretary and she'll distribute.
Thank you.
And were these previously were not submitted with your application?
The exhibit?
The exhibit, correct?
No.
Okay, so counsel?
So we're going to mark this as Exhibit A1. We'll do Exhibit A1. Oh, okay. Oh.
It's just showing how the,
Okay, I'm sorry. There are 3 exhibits here, so we'll mark them as Exhibit A1, A2, and A3 for each one. Okay, I'm sorry. You can continue.
it's a 2 set, so.
That's fine. What's that? Oh, okay, there are 2.
And then also I use Google Earth for neighborhood comparison.
We'll label the comparisons all A4, Exhibit A4. Yeah, you just pass it down. And you can pass these down.
You can proceed, sir.
So Exhibit A is the existing front elevation. And the Exhibit B is the existing rear elevation. Exhibit C is the proposal concept rendering. So you can see the rear bedroom and then the rear deck. And then I use the Google Earth neighborhood comparison. So it's showing 2 nearby homes within 200 feet of my property. So one has a rear addition and a deck. So you can see how I label it. So that's home number, comparable number 1. So that's the one with the rear addition and a deck. The address is 40 Stony Road. And comparable number 2 is number 12 Bellwing Road. So that location has rear and side addition and a pool. And these 2 homes have similar rear addition and outdoor improvement. And I also submit a letter of support from my adjacent neighbor who cannot be here today. So he's reviewed the proposal and support this application. And lastly, we respectfully ask the board to approve our application. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyen. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Nguyen?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
so on reference to your comparables on 47 Stony Brook, 12 Baldwin, and 40 Stony Brook, so that meets the characteristics of the neighborhood based on the height and front and backyard distances?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyen. Is that all you have to, is that your case?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right, so we will now go out to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, if you are within 200 feet, you received the notice via certified mail. Seeing none, we'll go outside of 200 feet.
I have a...
Well, this is the opportunity, this is the public portion.
Yeah, my name is Thanh Nguyen. I live at 49 Stony Road.
I'm sorry, could you just raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, could you say your name again and your address?
Yeah, my name is Thanh Nguyen. I live 49 Stony Road, and I agree to support to him to send the backyard.
Okay, that's all you have to say, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you
Okay
very
for
much.
me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone anyone else outside 200 feet wanting to be heard? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public session.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed, and I'll go to the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chairman?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application based on meeting the local master plan, ordinances, meeting the positive and negative criteria, and meeting the characteristics of the neighborhood in reference to the setbacks, the heights, and the side yard setbacks. And also the neighbor fully supports this.
And I'll also add that Mr. Nguyen does say within the parameters of the floor area ratio. In fact, he's well below the floor area ratio. Okay, motion made by Vice Chairman Gorman.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cerrito. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Sadaha?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Cerrito?
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Gamba?
Yes on the motion. Mr. Nguyen, congratulations. You have unanimous approval. You were very, very well prepared. You presented the board very well.
Thank you, sir.
And you were worthy of approval. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z2, 2026, Emmerprit Qua at 194 Washington Ave. Applicant is seeking a minor subdivision along with bulk and use variances to construct 2 new single-family dwellings. The following standards have not been met for both lots. Max FAR required is 0.44%, proposed is 0.55%. Max lot building coverage required is 23%, proposed is 28.8%. Front yard setbacks required is 25 feet, proposed is 19 feet. Lot width required is 75 feet, proposed is 50 feet. Affected property is located in the RB zone, designated as block number 63, lot number 1801, on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Barlow.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, board professionals. It's a pleasure to be back before you. For the record, my name is Thomas Barlow. I'm an attorney with Lombardi & Lombardi, and I'm licensed to practice law in the state of New Jersey, and I represent the applicant, Ms. Kuauer, who is the owner of the property at 194 Washington Avenue, which is block 63, lot 18.01. Her and her husband reside in Edison, are both present. Oh, no problem. I won't tap it, though, I promise. The board secretary has confirmed the appropriate notice has been sent and verified the board has jurisdiction. The applicant purchased this property, this house, which is in pretty rough shape, on an oversized lot in the RB district. The lot is 10,000 square feet or .229 acres. The proposal is to subdivide the lot down the middle, creating two new lots, 50 by 100 or 5,000 square feet in size, and build two new homes. The RB zoning lot size is 7,500 square feet, so we need a bulk variance for lot size and lot width, where 75 feet is required and we have 50 feet. We also need a bulk variance for minimum front setback, where 25 feet is required and we're proposing 19 feet. And just to be clear, we're not proposing that the house is going to be built at 19 feet. It's a covered porch, which triggers the variance. Frankly, I think it adds some character and some depth to the front of the houses, so you don't just have a flat facade. We also need a bulk variance for impervious coverage of the building, where 23% is allowed, and we're proposing 28.8. I would note we meet the overall impervious coverage, and we meet all the side and rear yard setbacks and height standards. Finally, the homes require an FAR D4 variance, where 0.44 is permitted and 0.55 is proposed. The homes will have unfinished basements, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. As we hope to present to you tonight, we believe this proposal is uniquely suited for this area. As you will hear, of the 39 other lots in the 200-foot area, 31 or over 79% are non-conforming, as they are less than 75 feet wide. 26 are 50 feet wide or less. 6 are less than 50 feet. So the subdivision is clearly consistent with the neighborhood. I have John Dupont, a professional engineer and planner, here to testify, address the board's professionals' reports, and the reasons the relief sought can be granted. Ms. Cohower and her husband are here also if the board have any questions of them. At this point, unless the board has any preliminary questions of me, I would call Mr. Dupont.
Board have any preliminary questions for Mr. Barlow? Seeing none, you may proceed.
Do you swear from the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
John P. DuPont, 756 Jackson Road, Stewartsville, New Jersey.
Mr. Dupont, you appeared before the board prior. If you could just give us a brief summary of your background and qualifications.
Yes, I am a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, as well as a professional planner. I've served for the Borough of Carteret as their planning and zoning board engineer for the past 28 years, and also a professional planner for about 15. I've been in front of this board as well as boards throughout the state. All my licenses are currently in good standing.
And you're, just for the record, you're looking to be accepted as a professional planner and professional engineer.
That is correct.
We'll accept you as both. You may proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Barlow, I'm sorry. We're going to have to, we can grab that other microphone. Yeah, this way you guys can make it easier. Thank you.
I'll start that again. Mr. Dupont, you prepared the engineering plans in this matter, reviewed the application, the FAR calculation, and the architectural plans?
That is correct.
As an initial matter, the single-family homes that are proposed are permitted use in the RB zone, correct?
Correct.
Can you generally go over the proposal for the board?
Yes, and I'll do it first from an engineering standpoint, and then we'll shift over to a planning standpoint. So the property we're talking about is 194 Washington Avenue. That's block 63, lot 1801. It is in the RB residential zone. The property consists of a single residential dwelling that fronts on Washington Avenue within an established residential neighborhood. The surrounding area is served by existing public infrastructure such as public water, sewer, electric, gas, and other utilities. The proposed application is a minor subdivision dividing the existing parcel into 2 residential lots. Each of the proposed lots will front on Washington Avenue. Each will contain 1 single-family dwelling, which is a permitted use in the RB zone. There's no new public streets are proposed, no roadway improvements are required, no utility modifications are necessary. From an engineering standpoint, it's relatively straightforward infill subdivision application. The proposed lots have adequate frontage to provide safe vehicle access, utility connections, emergency access, and the installation of all necessary site improvements. Public water and sewer are available for each lot. Subdivision can be designed in accordance with acceptable engineering practice and can be constructed without creating any adverse impacts to surrounding neighborhoods. With respect to drainage, because that's usually a topic, the proposed subdivision results in an increase in impervious area of 831 square feet total. It's de minimis. The drainage flow patterns and runoff patterns will be completely unchanged. The increase in runoff will be unmeasurable, be de minimis. I do not anticipate any increase in peak flow, any impacts to adjoining properties or the municipal drainage system. All soil erosion control measures will be installed and appropriate and permits obtained. With respect to utilities, each
Just
proposed...
stop you right there, and also confirm, we're not in a flood zone, correct?
We are not.
And that was confirmed by the township engineer.
That is
in his
correct.
report. Okay.
With utilities, each lot will be served by existing services. There is sufficient capacity from all utility services to provide service. Variances, as you heard, there's several dimensional variances: lot area, lot width, front yard setback, lot coverage, and FAR. From an engineering perspective, those are basically zoning issues, and we'll get into a little more deep during the planning testimony. There are no variances created, any engineering deficiencies, or public safety concerns. We have two reports from your professional staff. DNR's report, April 2nd, 2026. We can comply with all of them, but there is two options I like to just, there's two comments I like to just bring a little attention to. In the DNR letter, 4.1 talks about street lighting and a revised lighting plan. So we won't have a lighting plan for this because it's residential property, but we will provide house lighting. I just want to clarify that.
I think that's what Mr. Carley was seeking.
I think that's correct.
Mr. Carley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, my comment 4.1 is really observational. Mr. DuPont does propose building-mounted house fixtures with only a lighting, blah, blah, blah. And I just note that for the board and really just ask Mr. DuPont to put in testimony what I think is obvious, that the lighting that he proposes is adequate for the proposed residential dwelling. That's all.
Is it adequate?
Yes, it is for residential. And the other comment is just 4.5 talks to consideration of an irrigation system for the plantings. We will certainly talk to the applicant and perhaps provide that, but at this moment it's not on the plan, it's not proposed.
It's a residential home seeking, I guess, sprinkler system? I hadn't seen that before, but if that's something the board insists on, we would comply, but.
Mr. Carley?
Again, using the skills I've honed over 50 years reading, general note number 15 commits to putting a sprinkler system on the residential dwelling. And so I pick up on that reading the plan, and I note that as a matter of information. There's nothing in the ordinance that obligates the installation of irrigation, but it's on the plan, so I bring it out. It's voluntary. If the applicant wants to put it in, he may, or she may. If she doesn't want to put it in, she may not.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Carlin.
That really concludes the engineering portion of my testimony.
Okay, so we'll go to the board and see if they have any questions with regard to engineering.
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
3.1 in reference to the parking, just testimony shall be provided.
So Mr. Carley refers to the RSIS standard. For a 4-bedroom house, 2.5 spaces are required. And then if you look at the subnote of that, when it's 2.5, for 4-bedroom, you can round down to 2. So we provide 2 spaces for each house. We meet the parking standard.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none? Okay, you can change hats now.
Okay, I'll tee you up. Now, based on the plans, as you indicated, there's several bulk or flexible C2 variances that are needed, correct?
That is correct.
And you've indicated there for, you have ones for lot width, lot size, the front setback because of the covered porch, and the impervious building coverage, but not overall impervious coverage, correct?
Correct.
For what we call the setback requirements, we meet all of them except for the front setback, right?
Correct?
As it relates to the neighbors, the side and rear yard setbacks are met, correct?
They are.
The house is appropriately sized and will be built to the township height standards, correct?
Correct.
And while there's a variance for maximum lot coverage of the house, we meet and are under the impervious coverage standard of 40% overall, correct?
That is correct.
Is it fair to say because we are meeting the side and rear yard setbacks, the houses will not dominate the properties or the surrounding neighborhood?
I would agree with that.
As it relates to lot size and lot width, we need variances for those, and you examined the surrounding lots and created an exhibit, correct?
We did.
I would ask that we mark that as A1. I have copies for the board, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Salmon?
It's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna, let me say it first. Just one page, just one page? Yes. Okay, so we'll mark this as Exhibit A1. The 200-foot radius map.
Mr. Carley, you created that exhibit?
Yes, I did. It's okay.
Mr. Carley, you created that exhibit?
For the record, that's Mr. Dupont.
DuPont created that exhibit. But yes, we did.
Yes.
I was going to say, Mr. Carley, you got to stay in your lane there.
He's wearing two hats.
Got some splaining
he
to do.
did.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That would be a problem. Mr. DuPont, you created this exhibit that's been marked as A1.
Yes, I did.
And could you go over with the board what it depicts?
So that exhibit you have in front of you is a map of the area. It's a 200-foot radius map shown, and it shows the 40 lots within 200 feet of this property, and it calls out the lots that are undersized. And of the 40 lots, 31 of them are undersized, deficient in width and area. That's 77%. Majority, and that's, so the zone requires 75 by 100. 77% are under that. Those lots, as you see, are mainly 50 by 100, which is consistent with our application. There's also 6 of those lots are under 50 foot. So our 50 by 100 lot subdivision, our lots will meet the characteristics of the neighborhood.
Okay. In addition, the applicant requires a D4 FAR variance for each home, correct?
That's correct.
Can you generally go over what that is and what's being proposed?
Right, so the proposed homes remain consistent with the neighborhood, although they do exceed the FAR requirement. The proposed buildings remain compatible, but the FAR allowable in the zone is .44. We're proposing .55. We created a second exhibit, which we might want to give the board.
Okay.
Exhibit number 2 is coming to you. Again, it's the same 200-foot radius map. This time, we looked at the 40 homes within 200 feet and identified all the homes that have an FAR violation currently.
So we're gonna mark this as Exhibit A2.
So that plan you're seeing has 2 things on it. First, it has notation of which homes exceed the FAR currently. There are 3 of them within 200 feet. And when we're looking at that, we looked a little closer at the neighborhood. Found something pretty interesting. In addition to the 3 lots that exceed the FAR, which FAR, right, is controlling your density and your intensity of the use. There are 16 homes of those 40 that are multiple families, that are not permitted in the zone, multiple families. There are 15 that are 2 families, and there's even a 1 3-family home in that zone. So as I look at the FAR for us going over by 0.11 over the requirement, we are still much less intense than the 16 homes within 200 feet of our property that have multiple families. Multiple families in it, multiple cars in it, more traffic, more demand on our neighborhood. Our small FAR, we're building a modern home, and that's why we're exceeding the FAR in a smaller lot. Much less intense and intense use of services and on the community. So I think our FAR variance to build a modern home will be consistent with the neighborhood and, quite frankly, less demanding than the other houses in the neighborhood.
Now, under the Randolph Town Center Associates case and the New Jersey Supreme Court decision in the Coventry Square case, is it your opinion that the site will accommodate what's been proposed?
Yes, it will.
Are there any, I'm sorry,
I was going to say, all utilities in place can support the building completely.
and there are no problems, to your knowledge, that are associated with the proposed use?
None.
And would you agree that the single-family homes permitted on the 50 by 100 lot will fit the character of the neighborhood, replaces an older decrepit home with 2 homes built to today's safety and energy standards?
Yes, and this neighborhood is seeing some new redevelopment. There are a lot of older homes in the area, but there are beginning of some new homes, and this will meet that.
Can the FAR variance and the bulk variances be granted without substantial detriment to the public good?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
I think that it meets the neighborhood, it meets the characteristics of the neighborhood. It doesn't impact adversely adjoining properties with drainage or grading or intensity or traffic or meeting all those requirements.
What is your opinion as to whether there'd be a substantial impairment to the zone plan and ordinance?
I don't think there'd be any detrimental impact to the zone plan or the zoning ordinance by this application.
And based on your review of the surrounding properties in the 200-foot area, is it your opinion that the board could grant the proposed subdivision, again, without impairment to the zone plan ordinance?
It is.
Have you ever gone over the positive, negative?
Actually, if you'd like me to.
Okay. Just to be clear,
Yep.
one of the positive and negative criteria as you found them.
So we go back to the C variances first. Positive criteria, we use the C2 variance for this application. The subdivision certainly advances several purposes of the MLUL. Purpose A, to encourage municipal action that guides appropriate use and land development. The proposal represents appropriate residential infill development within an established neighborhood, utilizing existing infrastructure. Purpose G, to provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for residential uses. The subdivision creates 2 residential buildings while maintaining the existing character of the neighborhood. Purpose I, to promote desirable visual environment through good civic design and arrangement. The proposed homes will be consistent with the surrounding residential development and will continue with the existing streetscape along Washington Avenue. And purpose M, efficient use of land. Rather than requiring additional infrastructure or expanding development outward, the proposal makes efficient use of an existing residential parcel already served by municipal improvements. As far as negative criteria, again, this meets the characteristics of the neighborhood. This isn't an overburdens. This is just a modern home that is meeting all the setbacks except for that front yard setback with a front covered porch. It's not the building being too close. It'll meet the criteria, meet the neighborhood. In my opinion, it satisfies the standards. The homes, again, public utilities already exist, no adverse environmental impacts, no drainage impacts. And I think it's just building a modern home is the reason why we're asking for relief.
Now, we had gone over the DNR report. With regards to the Neglia Planning Report of July, most recently revised July 24th, 2026, I realize a lot of it is informational, but on page 3 of 6 under number 4, in terms of what's permitted in the RB residential district, multifamily homes are not permitted in the zone as is currently written.
They are not.
And then with regards to the planner's comments under heading 6, we agreed that we will comply with the township ordinance with regards to, obviously the homes can't look alike. They have to have unique characteristics that if we're successful, we will work with the board's planner to make sure that we comply.
Absolutely. I believe so.
Mr. Bradford?
So just to reiterate, just on the characteristics of the homes, you're obviously they're. I'm sorry. You're saying obviously that the houses aren't going to look alike, but they are going to match the aesthetics in terms of the community character and some of the other houses that you've already brought up, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what my intention would be is if we, the board would act favorably on our application, we would work with the board planner to make sure that before building permits are issued or anything, that we comply and we meet your requirements as to fitting the neighborhood and that they're not mirror images, they're not identical. Absolutely.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Great, thank you, Mr. Bradford.
And I think that completes our planning testimony.
Great, does the board have any questions for Mr. Dupont with regard to planning testimony? Seeing none? Okay, thank you, Mr. Dupont.
Thank you.
Mr. Barlow?
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't going to plan on calling any witnesses. I know you have a busy night and there's a lot of public. So at this point, I wouldn't call any further witnesses. And if you want to open to the public,
Okay.
we can address any comments they may have.
Great, so we will now go out to the public. We will start with the residents within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard. Please approach. All residents will have 6 minutes for any commentary on the proposed application. Good evening.
Could you do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I affirm.
Could you give your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Elchanan Freund. I'm at 178 Washington Avenue. Sure, of course. Elchanan. Last name is spelled Freund. Sure.
Sorry, sir, did you say 178 Washington?
Correct.
You can continue.
So, members of the board, I respectfully object to the application seeking a minor subdivision, a D4 floor area ratio variance, multiple bulk variance for 194 Washington Avenue. According to the public notice, the applicant seeks approval to subdivide the property and construct 2 single-family detached homes while obtaining variances for minimum lot area, minimum lot width, minimum front setback, maximum lot coverage, and floor area ratio. The subject property is approximately, as you heard, 100 by 100 feet and is currently improved with a single-family home. The property is located within the RB zone and already functions as a residential lot. The property is not unusable. It is not landlocked. It is not uniquely shaped. It is not incapable of supporting residential development. In fact, the property already contains a family home and currently enjoys a lawful residential use. This application is not necessary to allow residential use of the property. The applicant is attempting to increase the density of development by creating 2 residential building lots where only 1 conforming lot presently exists. The board should recognize that a desire to maximize development potential or increase financial return is not the same as a zoning hardship. The property already has a valuable and reasonable use as it exists today. Perhaps most importantly, the applicant purchased the property with full knowledge of the existing zoning regulations. The zoning restrictions did not change after purchase. The lot size, frontage requirements, setback requirements, lot coverage requirements, and FAR limitations were already in place when the property was acquired. The applicant voluntarily purchased a conforming residential lot and is now seeking permission to divide that lot into 2 non-conforming lots? What hardship existed before the applicant decided to subdivide the property? The answer appears to be none. The lot complies today. The variances became necessary only because the applicant wishes to create an additional building lot and increase the density of development. A property owner should not be permitted to purchase a conforming lot, create non-conforming conditions through subdivision, and then rely upon those self-created conditions as justification for variance relief. The need for lot area variances, lot width variances, setback variances, lot coverage variances, and FAR relief does not arise from any unique characteristic of the land itself. It arises from the applicant's decision to split one conforming lot into 2 lots and maximize development potential. The municipal land use law was not intended to grant variances simply because a property owner can make money by building 2 homes instead of 1. Lastly, characteristics. What Washington Avenue's characteristic is not the same as other characteristics of the rest of the streets around us. And to bring a lot, 16 lots, is not the same. When we talk about characteristics, let's be fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next resident within,
I have a couple questions.
Mr. Barlow. Oh, sir, can you, Mr. Freund, can you come back? Thank you.
I'm sorry, you said you live at you said you live at 178 Washington?
Correct.
And what was your name again, sir?
Elkanan Freund.
Okay, the tax assessor's office says that the owner of that property is Xing Chan and Su Young?
Then you might not have the right one because I've been paying taxes for over 19 years.
Okay. Well, again, that's what the tax assessor, okay. And you live at the corner of Mineola and Washington, right?
Correct, sir.
And your lot's 50 by 100.
Correct.
So your lot's undersized.
Okay.
Your lot's the same size as the lots we're proposing.
I understand that.
Okay. And you understand that if you wanted to, like, put an addition on your house or put a deck on that exceeded, you would have to come before the zoning board and get variance relief. You understand that?
1,000,000%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freund. Next member of the public within 200 feet.
I
Can you raise your hand?
affirm to tell
I
the truth.
I just have to formally say it. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I affirm, yes.
Okay. State your name and address, please.
Michael Willinger, 173 Highland Avenue,
And
Edison,
you could
New
adjust
Jersey.
the microphone just so it's more comfortable for you.
Michael Willinger, 173 Highland Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. Willinger. So I also object to the splitting of the lot, and I do have a 100 by 50 square foot lot today, so I will admit that I'm one of the 72%. And I guess I would ask, how many of those lots have been divided recently or have been granted a variance recently? Because my house was built about 100 years ago, as well as all the other houses in that. So using I guess the characteristic of the community and knowing what the laws are today and changing those laws today, or making variances for those laws today, would be a change in precedent, and it would violate that 7,500 square foot rule. Washington Avenue, I guess I could say the same thing. I think what people don't realize is that right now, all the water runoff from Washington Avenue runs onto Highland Avenue. So I guess it's not going to be on an engineering thing, but if anybody drives by today, they're going to see huge puddles and water buildup on Highland Avenue. And that's there pretty much all the time, except in drought conditions. So what that means is, if we're digging up more basement and we're displacing more soil to build 2 houses instead of 1, and also to just, to use more, I guess, land than is allowed, that's just more water runoff. And I could just I don't have a picture because nobody takes pictures of unsightly things, throughout the year, but I can paint a picture for what it looks like on Highland Avenue. So in the winter, it's all ice. Like on the corner of Highland Avenue and Marshall, it's an ice sheet for most of the winter. And what that means is people slipping, cars, like Tokyo drifting, and anti-lock braking all the time. So that's kind of like what the winter experience is. This summer and the I would say the summer and the fall, the experience is a lot of mosquito breeding, a lot of insects. You know, you walk by and you're shaking off those like little gnats because they just like stick to your clothes. But that's, a lot of that is, you know, water runoff from Washington Avenue. The other thing, and then the spring, of course, we have algae. So we got algae, we got chemicals. It looks pretty because it's like rainbow color, that sitting water, but that's all like that. It's been there, I think, since I moved in, but it's constant. It's always there. It's running from Washington Avenue. Like the sun pumps are always pumping that water, and they're pumping it to, you know, like kind of around Washington, down Washington, around Marshall, and then it kind of like sits on Highland Avenue. So I think that would be my, you know, I guess one of the reasons for the objection. The other thing is when we talk about conforming or non-conforming lots in the area and the neighborhood, having 50 by 100s does create a lot of density, and Highland Avenue is proof of that. Everybody sort of has their parking spots, and if you park in the wrong spot, you get a note on your car, on your windshield, and that's, you know, that's what happens. So we're kind of, to put that, I guess, that stress on Washington Avenue, to tell everyone on Washington which that street has mostly 100 by 50 lot, or has mostly, I think, 100 by 100 lots. I would say most of that block, you know, you're going to kind of, by subdividing it and setting that precedent, right, that precedent that was established 100 years ago for most of the non-conforming Highland Avenue or Lexington Avenue lots, which you probably see in your chart. You know, like what it does is it stresses out the rest of the neighborhood. It, you know, it makes parking much more difficult. And it's just, we're kind of like setting ourselves backwards, you know, with whatever we're talking about with modern, safe, you know, houses, which I think was part of the goal that was testified to. This would be sort of, you know, going back to, these are the 100-year-old lots. This is the traffic that it causes. This is the issue we have with parking and the water displacement and all those other issues. So I guess I would just pose the question, what is the public good of splitting, you know, a conforming 100 by 100 lot? Like, what is the public good that we're striving for? Because I can say all the, you know, public bad that, you know, that such a precedent would set.
Just a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. And I'm sorry, your name again, sir, was?
Michael Willinger, homeowner since.
Any idea who Barbara Sarka is? Sarka?
I bought it from the estate of Barbara Sarka. She's been, you know, married, I think,
you got the
about 10
notice,
years
though,
ago.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
According to our review, it looks like almost every single lot on Highland is a 50 by 100 lot, correct?
As of when?
As of today, right now.
Yeah, from 100 years ago when it was split.
And you heard Mr. DuPont's testimony that there won't be any additional runoff onto Washington from these two homes.
I heard your expert witness's testimony as to what he's testifying, as to what he's paid to do. Yes.
Okay, but you're not an engineer, correct?
No, I don't.
Okay, and you understand that the township engineer indicated that from a runoff or stormwater issue, management issue, we're not making any condition worse than what's out there already.
So if we're putting more stuff on the property than what was already there, by definition, isn't that worse? If we're covering more land than what was there, wouldn't that by definition be worse? If it's
the testimony was it was not.
But I guess it's common sense, right? It's more land coverage is worse than less land coverage.
What the testimony was is there are only 831 square feet of new impervious. So that's the increase.
What's the water absorption of that?
De minimis measurements. You're not going to see any change in peak runoff at all to the adjoining properties. And then the grading pattern gets it to the street, but it's not even enough water that you'd be able to measure it.
Is that cubic feet or is that square feet?
A peak would be, but it's 831 square feet.
Okay, so going down 6, how deep is the basement?
Well, the basement has nothing to do with the surface water runoff.
Oh, but we're also talking about water absorption, aren't we?
We're not.
Well, so what I witnessed on Washington Avenue is sun pumps. There's a lot of people pumping, right? Everybody has to displace the water and they're pumping out, right? They have to pump out the water that would otherwise be absorbed by the ground. So it's a lot of sun pumps that are consistently pumping. So even when it doesn't rain, you still have consistent water flow onto Highland Avenue.
Okay, that sounds like a groundwater issue.
What is that?
Water below the surface, groundwater in the soils.
But
That's different than surface water runoff.
So then okay, so, but then you're admitting that there's more water due to sun pumps pushing out water as opposed to runoff from rain.
Not at all. I'm saying there's two separate items. If you
Have you testified to both items?
No, I didn't do any studies onto your sump pumps in your grounds in your.
Okay, so I'm saying that there's displaced ground. There's displaced ground that's going to be there, right? By making a bigger basement, you're displacing ground, which would otherwise absorb water.
But it may not impact at all groundwater. So look, if you want to look about surface waters, you talk about the increase in impervious coverage on the surface. If you're talking about impact of groundwater, one basement versus two, maybe there's something there, maybe there's not there. I don't know. I didn't do a study on the groundwater in Highland Avenue for sure, or our property.
Okay, so then it sounds like it's an incomplete test.
No, it's not. It's complete. We're required to look at the increase in impervious coverage and any increase in stormwater runoff. And I'm telling you, there's de minimis increase.
Okay, so then I'm testifying to the sump pumps that are pumping all the water, like throughout the year, with the high.
And
right?
if you have a sump pump and you pump in your basement, it's very common, and you probably pump it to the street.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then all that water that gets pumped onto the street flows down Washington Avenue, as I stated before, goes down Marshall, and then sits on Highland Avenue.
I don't know if the stormwater system for the township isn't there to collect it properly, or if it's not slow properly, I don't know.
Okay, so that's what I'm testifying to.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Next resident within 200 feet. Good evening. Our attorney, raise your right hand, our attorney will swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I affirm.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is David Eisner. I live at 69 Mineola Place. I hope the record still shows that.
Please speak into the mic.
Eisner. I live diagonally from this property, and I grew up parallel to this property.
If you could just adjust the microphone.
It's not meant for people this height.
Take the mic off.
I live diagonally across from this property, and I grew up one block parallel and directly parallel to this property. So I think I would have somewhat of a idea of what the character of the community is. I moved away to Queens for a little bit, and I came back specifically to move back to a suburban community where I would have a front yard, a backyard, and there would be green spaces. Being that, I bought my house on Washington Avenue. Washington Avenue, as you'll see with their survey that they sent you, most of the houses on Washington Avenue are 75 by 100. There are a few towards the end, towards Marshall, that are 50 by 100, and then some past Mineola that are 50 by 100. Highland Avenue, which is probably most of the survey, is all 50 by 100, and Lexington Avenue has many. One of them, there are a few that are 46. Like you said, there are some super, even less than the 50 that they're proposing. Like the zoning board and previous zoning boards were very calculated when they made the standard size lots of 75 by 100. To change that would be super detrimental to the community that I grew up in and that I moved back to for. Now, there are a lot of houses that are 50 by 100 on other blocks. And like I said, I didn't move on those blocks because I didn't want to be in a 50 by 100 area. But also, those lots have been there for 100 years. And the two-family houses have been there for 100 years. And that being said, the fact that something was approved 100 years ago has very little relevance to what we see today. Today, what I see around is I see most lots are 75 by 100 around this exact property. Not on different blocks, it's different. And therefore, that character would definitely be completely changed if we started breaking up every 100 by 100 lot into two lots. I know I grew up in a 100 by 100 lot on the next block, and if it was also divvied up, it would make the whole block, like we said, much more dense, no parking. There's already a There's a apartment building nearby. There's no parking. There's a school nearby. There's very little parking. To move in 2 families into a place that had 1 house is definitely detrimental to most of the neighbors. The fact that it's decrepit and they want to put 2 nice houses also, I don't think is really a factor. We could have 1 nice house as opposed to 1 decrepit house. There were a lot of people who were interested in buying the property. They could have put in a nice house. They decided to buy it and hoping that they could get the 2, but there were plenty of people who were looking at that house and wanted to put up just their 1 nice house that we would have been very happy with. Also, that being said, the parameters of the ask of the variance, besides for the fact of just splitting it into 2, which in and of itself is super detrimental, and like the previous person said, the runoff on the street is horrible. When I grew up 30 years ago, there used to be drains on the corners that used to collect rainwater. Those were closed up many years ago. So now the streets are just rivers whenever it rains. And obviously displacing more dirt, even though that's not what the survey was about, the testimony was about, replacing more dirt will increase the runoff on the street. Because you see, it comes out after every storm, many days afterwards, there's tons of runoff. That being said, it's a pretty impressive ask that they were willing to even ask all these things. They keep on saying they're not changing the impervious, but they asked for 1,000 extra square feet on that lot, 500 each of their proposed lots, and 600 extra of coverage, like they said, almost 580, whatever it is. These excessive variances will make the house look like oversized houses trying to escape the parameters of the property. It's definitely not the look. If you drive down the street now, it's definitely not what they have now. Even the 50 by 100 lots that they have now, that they're claiming there's so many of, the houses are pretty small. They're not such large houses. There's not so many like that. I think that's all I have to say.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
A quick question, and I'm going to do this through Mr. DuPont. That particular lot is on your Exhibit A2, correct?
That is correct.
Why is it?
Mr. Barlow, if you could just bring the microphone
I'm
closer.
sorry. It's on your Exhibit A2. Why is it highlighted?
I believe it's lot 50.01, which exceeds the FAR requirement of the zone.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Next resident within 200 feet of subject site want to be heard.
Could you raise your right hand, please?
Right hand, yeah.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Elisa Morla, 65 Mineola Place. Elisa, last name Morla, Morla. Yes. I also object with the proposal. I have now been living there for about my husband, Brian Morla, have been living there now for 11 years on Mineola. I currently work for John Marshall Elementary School that is getting all of the improvements and the construction that's happening. So I walk routinely to work. That's what I do, rain, shine, whatever. I'm always walking. I am well aware of my area. I've seen the struggles that Washington that deals with in terms of water. All of the sump pumps coming out when it rains. Sometimes Mineola, that intersection of Mineola and Washington is a giant puddle. So more water adding to it is going to be a problem. I am also, I walk continuously down this block, so I know what these houses look like. And for the proposal, what they're proposing does not fit the way that the street is and the houses that are on the street currently. I am probably also one of those houses that does not fall within the ordinances. I believe my house was built in 1963, but regardless, I'm also very close to my neighbor, and I know my house is positioned very differently. So I don't have a backyard. I'm more of like a side and a front yard. My backyard is like really next to my neighbor. So I'm well aware of what it is to feel that confined sense of space. And I believe this proposal is also doing that with 2 different houses. Along with that, along with all of the things that were mentioned and the things that I said, parking is a huge issue on that street. In particular, we have a lot of things going on. You guys don't live on our block, so it's difficult to understand. But there is construction that's going on at the elementary school. much-needed improvements, so yeah. But regardless, there is construction workers that park on the streets, that congest the streets. There are the staff sometimes, because the parking lots are now full, considering the construction, the staff has to park in those streets, so it's very congested, along with the fact that there are 2 places of worship on Washington itself. The congestion is a lot. So for the gentleman to claim that there is going to be sufficient space to park, I don't believe that to be true, and I don't think anyone that lives on that street would believe that to be true, because that's 4 bedrooms, so you're assuming 4 people, right? They're all gonna drive, they're gonna have guests. So that's way more cars now added to the situation and to the congestion of the block already. So yeah, I firmly object to the proposal.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Indicated you have an undersized.
Mr. Barlow, if you could bring the microphone closer.
You had indicated your lot's undersized also. It's 50 by 100, so
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
going to ask you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next resident within 200 feet.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I affirm. My name is Jenna Freund. I live at 178 Washington Avenue. Sure, Jenna, Jenna, last name Freund. I have a letter here. The neighbor next door was unable to be present. Her name is Cheryl Farkas. Would you like me to spell it?
I'm going to object to
we
the
can.
letter.
Unfortunately, we can't accept a separate letter because the applicant doesn't have an opportunity to question or cross-examine that individual. So you can speak on your own experience, but we can't accept it from someone else.
Okay. And am I able to give the letter in as part of?
I would object.
Yeah,
Whether
no,
you submit it or read it doesn't really make a
Yeah,
difference.
it's
not
still
part of the
the
record.
same effect.
But I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your address again?
178 Washington Avenue. Well, I will again bring up the runoff then, and I know the lawyer here, like you keep asking people to confirm that they live on a smaller lot, which I do, and yes, I do believe that that is part of the issue that we have on our street with all of this runoff. So much so that I have spoken to the water department in Edison multiple times, and they have told me that people are plugging in and adding more and more to the street. There's runoff directly into the street instead of into yards. And yes, it is an untenable situation and it's unsafe. It's so much so that they have to they have to take off the manhole cover to the sewer to have it spring up at the top of Highland whenever there is flooding. That's how much runoff water there is in the area.
Just to clarify something, you live at 178, that's the same as the first witness who testified?
Yes.
The gentleman. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had the correct address. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next resident within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard.
Hi, name is Silvio Taranda.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Okay. Could you name and address, please? Thank you.
Silvio Taranda, and I own a couple of properties in that area, 152 Highland and 230 Washington. Taranda. I mainly want to review a couple of things, and it may be repeating, but I want to emphasize certain points. I know we talked about the extra lot coverage and the drainage. I know that roof coverage, we're increasing, basically we're taking a house that is, an existing house that may have a lot coverage of, how much does the existing house have? You probably have the exact number.
(2,882 square feet).
is the footprint.
The total impervious on that property.
It's the total, that includes the driveways?
Does.
Okay.
Yeah, any walkways, yes.
Okay. So it used to be that, and I don't know if the zoning ordinance or engineering is the same, if you increase the house, the coverage by 500 square feet on the roof, you'd have to put an entire drywall system onto the property. There was a reason why that was in place. I don't know if it's in place still, but in this particular case, it would be very important because there is a drainage issue on that street. As the other issue is your numbers as far as how many lots are undersized is a little misleading because most of those undersized lots are not on Washington Avenue. They're on Highland and they're on Lexington. Washington has some beautiful lots, some bigger than 100 by 100. And you are going to change the character there of the neighborhood by adding 2 houses on 1 lot. And I know the other person spoke and said there were plenty of people who were willing to buy it and renovate the house and add to it as a single-family home. This is not a hardship because they need another house for their parents to live in. This is just to a developer trying to subdivide some lots, build some spec houses, and make some money. And I don't think that that should be taken into consideration when you're asking for a variance to create non-conforming lots.
I just had a quick question. You had 152 Highland. What was the other property?
230 Washington, they are both undersized. Okay. And that's those blocks. Those blocks are all undersized.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site want to be heard? Anyone from outside 200 feet want to be heard? Last call.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I affirm.
Can you state your name and address for the record,
My name
please?
is Charles Neustadt. I live on Neustadt. Speak into the mic. I lived on Highland Avenue now for 26 years. Unfortunately, the first 10 years I lived in an undersized lot on the corner of Mineola and Highland. It was 183 Highland. Fortunately, the undersized lots of Highland Avenue, to go ahead and to try to bring a proof from there that we should continue this terrible thing is terrible. I couldn't wait to go ahead and get into a regular sized lot with a house that would be big enough to be able to live in. To go ahead and to contemplate that we're going to go ahead and go backwards and try to build more of these undersized lots and to move this terrible thing that we have on Highland. I don't drive home on Highland. I always drive up either Washington or Lexington to get home because of the parking and because of the congestion. I find it very bothersome that we're thinking of making things worse instead of making things better. I also take issue, the sewage someone had mentioned, has been a problem on Highland Avenue since I've been there. Basements, flooding, and the drainage. The closest, nobody mentioned that the rainwater sewer, the closest rainwater sewer, to my house is more than a block away. The closest rainwater sewer to this property that they're talking about is got to be a block and a half away. The next closest sewer is down on Highland and Leslie, or back up on Marshall. It's really absurd to consider adding a drop more of water to this area that has such a high water table. And I hope that the board will listen to our pleas, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for coming out.
I just have a question for Mr.
Sir, if you just wouldn't mind.
It's not for him, it's for Mr. Dupont in
Oh, okay.
response
All right, sorry,
to
you're good.
something he
Thank you,
said.
sir.
The reason we're looking at Highland is because municipal land use law and as your expertise in planning, you have to look at the lots within 200 feet as to the nature and character of the relief we're seeking, correct?
That's correct.
And we're not impacting sewage or water on Highland. And nothing was pointed out by the township engineer that anything we're proposing would impact water or drainage on Highland, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Abraham Gruber, Gruber, 161 Highland. And I oppose this request because everyone's speaking about the runoff and outside water. I can speak to my house that's just right behind the property. And after the rain today, I'm looking at 2.5 inches of water. And it's not coming from the ground, it's coming in from the windows because there's nowhere for the water to go. So it's coming back from behind the property and it's just going out to the street, and whatever crack or window or door it comes open, it's myself and the houses adjacent as well to the properties that I know for a fact that we always share our dehumidifiers because we got to deal with this. And there's nothing we can do unless we dig up the whole thing and put in French drains and whatnot. So there is an issue with the runoff, just even by the coverage of the property. It just has nowhere to go. So.
Thank you very much.
Just a quick question, sir. You're at lot 4601, 161 Highland?
That's correct.
And your lot's also 50 by 100, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else outside of 200 feet wanting to be heard? Last call.
David Itzkowitz, last name.
Sir, you're going to have to speak. You're going to have to speak into the microphone.
Could you just raise your right hand first? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes, I affirm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you state your name and address, please?
David Itzkowitz, 83 Marshall Drive, ITZKOW.
And if you can speak into the microphone. sir.
Yes, I don't want to rehash. I can confirm the drainage issues. I understand what the engineering is. As we all know in life, we see things and we know what engineering says technically. The drainage issues are there. There's underground streams through this neighborhood. It's been known as Twin Brooks for a reason back in the day. One thing I do want to address is the parking issue and the congestion. Before the school started construction, as my neighbor has pointed out down the block, even before this construction started, John Marshall School does not have enough parking for the staff. They are spilling over into Marshall Drive, Highland Avenue, Washington Avenue. We love our teachers, so we don't say nothing, but it is a situation. And so I don't want to take any more time, but that's the issue for now.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else within 200, outside 200 feet want to be heard? Sir, please approach.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Asaf Shmuel, 17 Fair Hill Road. Asaf, A-S-A-F. Last name Shmuel, S-H-M-U-E-L. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Tonight you heard from professionals that paint a beautiful picture, and I was in your position, and they're paid to do what they do, and they do a great job. However, you also heard tonight from neighbors about their neighborhood. I can almost guarantee you these professionals have yet to be in that neighborhood and see two of the issues that have come up tonight: drainage and overpopulation, or too many parking spots being taken. So what I ask of you tonight is, when you make a decision on how this neighborhood will be shaped with these two houses, well, I'm sure they're going to be beautiful houses, consider what you heard tonight from the members of the neighborhood. I used to live on Ward 40 at Washington Avenue. I know what it's like. I know the drainage issues, and I know about the congestion and the too many cars on the roads. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from outside 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Final call. Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Barlow, would you like to give a summation? Also, just reminding you that we do have only 5 board members present this evening. If you'd like to take a few minutes to discuss with your client, it's your case, counsel.
And I certainly appreciate that. I wasn't aware that parking was going to become an issue. So I have another exhibit I would like to present to the board, if I may.
Okay.
See, these are 5 pages. They're photographs, a street that I assume you'll identify. We'll mark this as Exhibit A3.
Thank you. You marked these as A3. I would just identify them for the board as a series of 5 photographs. It was brought up, I've been to this property at least 4 times. I've been there 3 times.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you just tell us which streets we're looking at here?
This is Washington. If you, on the top first picture, you see the tree on the right-hand side and your driveway, there's a branch on the front lawn. That's the driveway for 194 Washington, the applicant's property. This picture was taken at 6:45 yesterday.
Sorry, AM or PM?
6:45 PM, excuse me.
Sure.
And the second photograph just shows a little closer. The third photograph, again, just getting closer. You still see the driveway and that branch on the front lawn of the property. And then pictures 4 and 5, the trees you see on the left-hand side are, again, 194 Washington, showing the parking at 6:45 when I would presume everyone is probably home from work. Also, at least in my office in Edison, there were torrential downpours yesterday. It hailed in certain parts of Edison. As I said, this was at 6:45 yesterday. It's dry as anything in terms of drainage. So again, I give these pictures to the board just to address some of the comments that were made by members of the public. But again, we've heard a lot, and I realize there's only 5 members that could vote tonight. So if you will indulge me and give me a 5-minute adjournment to let me speak to my clients and see if they wish to proceed to a vote tonight or carry it.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank you
so much.
so
All right,
much.
so we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Board will return to session. Mr. Barlow?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I presented the board with another exhibit. I think we're up to A5, 4? 5.
I'm checking. I'm sorry. A4.
A4. And Mr. Dupont, if you could just identify for the record what that exhibit entails and why it was prepared.
This is once again a color exhibit extending farther out than 200 feet of the surrounding neighborhood, and it identifies one-family conforming lots, one-family non-conforming lots, two-family non-conforming lots, three-family non-conforming lots, and a 5-unit non-conforming lot.
Okay, and we've heard some testimony this evening from people within and without, and outside the 200-foot area. And of the 85 properties in the expanded RB comparison, 70 of the 85 lots don't conform to size, correct?
That's correct.
And it looks like there's 39 non-conforming one-families, 22 non-conforming two-families, 6 non-conforming three-families, and 1 non-conforming 5-unit, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And again, based on this exhibit, now we've expanded beyond the 200 feet, would you, does that bolster your testimony that you gave us earlier that you believe that the board could grant the relief sought based on the proofs you had submitted?
It certainly does.
Okay. I don't have anything further, and based on the fact that the board only has 5 voting members instead of 7, I would ask the board carry the meeting with no further notice. We'll have the transcript prepared and submitted to the board secretary so that any members who aren't here can review the transcript or listen to it if that's their pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Madam Secretary?
We can offer the September 22nd agenda for summation.
There's not going to be any resubmissions.
Understood. Our August 25th agenda, we only have one, and it's pretty jam-packed. That's up to you, Chair.
But it is for vote only, so as long as there's no more testimony and no more exhibits, it's just for vote only?
If it turns out we're going to do that, I'll notify the board secretary.
Okay, that's fine,
And
yeah.
move it to
To
accommodate
the
the board.
22nd? Okay.
Okay.
All right, that works.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so August 25th?
August 25th.
Okay, all right, so for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will be carried to Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. This case will be carried till Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. Meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you, Mr. Barlow, Mr. Dupont, and thank you, members of the public, for coming out. Have a very good evening. Safe home. I hope it is not raining out.
Appreciate the board, again, as always, listening to everything.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll give a minute, let the next case set up, and we'll move right along.
Rachel? Do you have all these?
I'm sorry?
Yep, I have all the exhibits. Thank you so much. Okay, go ahead.
It's a torrential rainstorm when I needed it.
Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z10, 2026, Middlesex Water at 83 Fairview Ave and 300 Cedar Lane. Applicant is seeking preliminary and final site plan with bulk and use variances to construct a new 58,360 square foot building, a new silo for water treatment, and other upgrades to comply with federal requirements. The following standards have not been met in accordance with the master plan. Max building height required is 3 stories, proposed is a 2-story. Accessory building height required is 45 feet, proposed is 55 feet. Minimum accessory side yard required is 40 feet, proposed is 34 feet. Affected property is located in the LI zone, designated as block number 888.01, lot number 1, and block number 3.04, lot number 11 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Skolnick.
Good evening, Chairman. Richard Skolnick on behalf of the applicant, Middlesex Water Company. As mentioned, we're here for site plan approval, and the core purpose of the application is to make drinking water more safe for the public and to meet new federal and state standards concerning what are commonly known as PFAS, or forever chemicals. You're going to hear from my client, Brian Carr, who's the Senior Director of Engineering at Middlesex Water, as to why the company is required to comply with new regulations and why it's required to build the new facilities at this location. We're in the LI zone. We're permitted use in the zone. We've taken a careful look at the review letters, both the planning and engineering letters. We don't have any issues complying with what's sought or what's mentioned in those letters. We're here at the zoning board because we have D6 height variances for a proposed 58,000 square foot building and a separate structure, which we're going to call a silo, that also exceeds the height by more than 10%. 45 feet permitted in the zone. We're at 55 feet for both of those structures. We noticed for a C variance for a building setback, but that's an existing structure on the site that's not being changed at all. The location is identified as block 888.01, lot 01, which is 83 Fairview Avenue, and that's the existing treatment plant. Chairman, I'm going to call that the CJO. That stands for Carl J. Olson Treatment Plant. Also at issue tonight is one other parcel in Edison, block 3.04, lot 7. That's 300 Cedar Lane. There's a big warehouse on that property, and we're going to create a secondary means of access through that warehouse property. I'm going to call that the SEGME, S-E-G-M-E property. And again, that's a fully developed warehouse. We want to create a new entry road for the new trucks that are going to be coming for the new facilities. We were in Highland Park last night because part of that new entry road sort of snakes through Highland Park on a couple of lots that are owned by my client and Rutgers, and we did receive approval just last night from the Highland Park Board of Adjustment for the entry road. We have that new building, 58,000 square feet. We have a new silo. We have some stormwater detention facilities. We have 50 new parking spaces, no new parking variances at all. You're going to hear from our experts, of course, on why we need that 55 feet for the new building and silo. We're going to hear from them on the technical reasons for the height of the structures. The new structures are located on this 25-acre parcel, quite large. We have train tracks bordering the property, separating us from residences. We have the SEGME warehouse, of course, that's another very significant buffer. And the closest residential structure on Fairview Avenue is approximately 650 feet, 2 football fields away from the proposed silo. Chairman, I'm going to get started with Brian Carr from Middlesex Water. I have Dave Tanzi, our civil engineer. We may have some very brief traffic testimony, just talking about that entry road and why 2 means of access are safe and appropriate. And then I'll wrap up with the planner, Lorelei Totten. We're going to try to move as quickly as we can, but cover what we need to.
Thank you very much.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Say your name and address for the record, please.
Brian Carr, B-R-I-A-N-C-A-R-R. My address is 90 Churchill Boulevard, New Egypt.
Brian, did we swear men? We swore men, right? Okay. Brian, what's your position and your job responsibilities with Middlesex Water?
I am the Vice President of Engineering for Middlesex Water Company, New Jersey Division. I am in charge of the engineering department at Middlesex Water Company.
And you're in charge of the project that's in front of the board tonight?
Yes, I am.
And you've been with Middlesex for a while?
I've been with Middlesex for 16 years.
Okay, and you're familiar with its operations and so on?
Yes.
Okay, could you give a little background on the project? How did we end up here? And what's going on out there right now at the plant and what's required and why are we moving forward with the proposal?
Sure. Briefly, to understand, the CJO plant is our primary drinking water plant for the system. It provides 75% of the drinking water for our system, our residential customers and our wholesale customers, which includes much of Edison on a retail basis and the remainder on a wholesale basis. Water is pumped from the DNR Canal in New Brunswick to the plant in Edison. The water from them has a PFAS level that is below the current New Jersey state levels of 13 parts per trillion for PFOA and PFAS. However, the federal government passed laws saying that the new level shall be 4 parts per trillion, but the water in the DNR Canal tends to be between 2 and 6 parts per trillion, 6 being clearly greater than 4. We are required to install treatment to avoid drinking water violations. We have gone through an extensive process of reviewing different treatment techniques for this PFAS, except for finding in our water, evaluating 6 different techniques. The one that was selected based on performance of our pilot study was granular activated carbon. In order to minimize the footprint and minimize the cost of this new building, rather than using pressure vessels, gravity contactors were selected for their smaller footprint. And we are here to put that building before the board. We also have a new pump station, which is necessary because we have to pump the water again because of the new contactors. We have the new silo for PAC because it is also effective at removing PFAS and is able to be constructed much faster than the main plant. So we will be treating for PFAS much quicker with the PAC system. And those are the main improvements we have here.
Okay, so there's some federal and state regulations dealing with this PFAS or forever chemicals.
Yes.
And stricter standards have come into play.
Yes, the federal standard is significantly stricter.
Okay, and there's certain deadlines that the federal government has put out. Can you talk about those for a second?
The compliance for PFAS below 4 parts per trillion has to be in place by April of 2029.
So right now we're on a planning schedule in order to be able to do it. Obviously, it's taken a time period to design and get in front of the board and select the technology.
Yes, we started in 2024 with this project once the federal laws were finalized and have been in design since.
Okay, and there was an extensive period of evaluating options. I take it with your company and its various consultants.
Yes, we did a 1-year pilot study using treated water from the plant to see how effective the addition of the new treatment would be.
And the technology that you selected, it's going to help with the PFAS or forever chemicals. There's also other benefits from the technology in terms of improving drinking water. Can you talk to the board about that?
GAC, as well as the powder activated carbon PAC, is a non-discriminatory absorber of things in the water. It is happy to absorb PFAS as well as other things. Prior to these laws for PFAS, we've been using powder activated carbon at the plant to address taste and odor issues, any upsets in the DNR canal. For example, if someone has spilled 2 gallons of diesel fuel into the canal by accident and it got into our plant, we can neutralize it with the powder activated carbon. So we have those available for our use, and it will take out often it'll take out pharmaceuticals and all the endocrine disruptors that you've heard of. It will not seek them out. It says there's a spot for you, and it will absorb it.
So the new system, in sort of simplistic terms, is going to create cleaner and safer water for the customers that your company serves.
Yes, there will be fewer things other than water and things we put in on purpose to be delivered to the customers.
And the technology and the cleaner water has been mandated by the federal government in this circumstance.
Yes, they have.
Okay. In addition to building the new treatment, Middlesex has decided to come in front of the board with a secondary means of access. Can you talk about that?
The treatment plant currently has a single access point down Fairview Avenue, which has been the case since it was built in 1969. The residents have to deal with our truck traffic, our chemical deliveries, and all the other items that arrive at the plant. With this new PFAS building, we will be experiencing media changeouts on a roughly yearly basis per contactor. We have 10 contactors planned, so roughly one a month as we stagger them out. The additional truck traffic was going to be about 20 trucks for a 1 week period every 6 weeks or so. We did not feel it was necessary or a good idea to increase the truck traffic on a residential street. If you've been to the area down off Sutton's and down Fairview, it's not a very well-suited area for large trucks. So we wanted to have a second access point as well for safety purposes, having a single access point to our plant should anything happen on Fairview Avenue and we could no longer access the plant through Fairview Avenue. It would put the production of that site in jeopardy.
So Middlesex Water was able to get consent letters, and it's working on formal easement agreements with the owner of that Segme warehouse and Rutgers to create a second access.
Yes, we have commitment letters like you spoke. We had to have them for the application to Highland Park, and we are working with Rutgers. They expect to have us on their fall board meeting. We're working with the Segme warehouse folks to use the same easement that Rutgers will be using to get to their property that we were sharing the easement to get our access road installed.
Okay, and the commitment is that the new trucks that will be servicing the new technology will not be on Fairview, but will go through the secondary access on Segme through Rutgers, and we'll be talking about this, of course, with the engineer, but so there's sort of two goals: clean the water and find a way for the trucks not to use Fairview and get that safer secondary access.
Yes, that is the plan.
Anything else, sir?
Don't think so.
Okay, Chairman.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Carr? Seeing none? Thank you very much.
Going to open it to the public?
No, we'll go to the public at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to call Dave Tanzi, a civil engineer.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth? No. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
David Tanzi, 110 Fieldcrest Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. Tanzi, T as in Tom, A-N-Z-I, first name David.
And who do you work for and what's your position with the company?
I work for CDM Smith. My current position is Senior Project Manager and also Senior Vice President.
And this, I believe, is your first time appearing before the board?
First time appearing before this board.
Okay, so if you could please give us the benefit of your background and qualifications.
Sure. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Civil Engineering from Stevens Institute of Technology and a Master's in Environmental Engineering also from Stevens Institute of Technology. I'm a licensed professional engineer in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and Massachusetts. I've been practicing engineering where I've been with CDM Smith since for a little over 30 years.
And your license is your license is current and good standing?
Sir.
We'll accept. You may proceed. Thank you.
Okay, Dave, you want to go through the layout? You want to use the boards? Up to you.
Yeah, I think the board has our packets.
Okay.
All right. I'll just go.
Chairman, do you have our packet there?
Yes, we do.
It was a pretty thick plan.
Yeah, no, thankfully the board secretary left it here, so we have to all carry it all in.
I think there's 58 drawings there. I'll go through a big picture, and then if we have questions, I get into a little more detail. As Mr. Carr indicated, our project consists of a couple main components. The purpose is to treat water that the treatment plant currently has. A couple different components of the project. There's a main PFAS treatment facility, which will contain treatment equipment, offices, and storage. There'll be a small pump station to provide backwash water to the new granular activated carbon, or GAC, treatment facility. There'll be a new backwash clarifier installed. The treatment plant currently has 2 clarifiers. A third one will be installed as part of this project. There'll be a 4th emergency electrical generator installed. Currently, there's 3 generators on site, so a 4th is proposed as part of this project. Mr. Carr had mentioned that there's a powdered activated carbon, or a PAC silo, that's also being proposed to be installed as part of this project. There'll be stormwater management facilities, new roadways, parking, lights, underground utilities, and then lastly, as Mr. Carr indicated, There'll be a new access road from the Segme warehouse property to allow large trucks to deliver the GAC media to the site. Those are the main components of the project. The main PFAS treatment facility would be located at the rear of the existing plant property, far from the Fairview Avenue entrance. That's the main entrance to the CGO treatment plant. The PFAS treatment facility, which is new, will be the largest of the buildings proposed. Total area of about 58,000 square feet. On a square footage basis, about 85% of that is dedicated to the treatment equipment and processes, with the remainder of that area being utilized for personnel and storage space. The main treatment facility has a total height of about 58.5 feet from the lowest existing grade elevation. That height is required to accommodate the very deep GAC treatment contactors required for PFAS treatment at the facility. From an architectural standpoint, the PFAS treatment facility is intended to match the existing building facade on the site. There's two other main facilities on the site. An ozone facility, which was constructed in 2021, and the main treatment facility, which was originally constructed in 1969 and then expanded in the late 1990s. We mentioned there'll be 50 new parking spaces on site. The second facility is that PAC silo, powdered activated carbon silo. That silo will include storage and equipment that will feed product into the water to improve the water quality and to also remove PFAS. The silo is located adjacent to an existing PAC feed system at the treatment plant. So the location of the new PAC silo was situated in the same area as the existing system, which is located indoors. That's to allow for ease of truck access and loading and unloading of the media into the silo. The silo is required to be at the height of 55 feet due to the amount of storage required to maintain about a 2-week inventory or supply of the dry product, that being the powdered activated carbon. And that silo structure, again, is replacing an existing PAC system that is ending its useful life at the treatment plant. With part of that silo, there'll be screening in front of it, consisting of a wall to screen to improve the aesthetics of the silo. And then just get into a little detail, the final piece of the project is the existing roadway off Cedar Lane will be repurposed to a new access road to allow trucks that are delivering this GAC media into the facility. As Mr. Carr indicated, we're looking at about 20 trucks every 6 weeks to deliver media, new media, and then remove the old media and truck it away for eventual disposal.
David, when you say media, what do you mean by that?
The media is the GAC, the granular activated carbon, the product that's actually treating the PFAS in the water.
Okay, so that's the carbon.
It's the carbon,
that's
yes.
pulling the chemicals out in layperson's terms.
Correct. Yeah, we have millions of pounds of carbon in these contactors. The carbon gets exhausted and needs to be replaced. In order to replace it, you have to remove it, truck it away, and then bring in new carbon and place them into the existing contactors.
And again, as Mr. Carr. And again, the concept is that the trucks that are going to bring the carbon in and out, they're not going to be on Fairview. They're going to come through the Segme building, sort of snake through Rutgers and Highland Park, and then come back in so that they're screened and shielded.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, just continuing with just some of the existing structures that are out there. There's an existing backwash storage tank on site, which is about 60 feet high. There's also an existing 10 million gallon storage tank that is used to contain potable or drinkable water. That's about 45 feet high. There's two main buildings out there. The ozone building, which I mentioned earlier, is about 24 feet high, and the main control building is about 24 feet high. Our new PFAS building has a height of about 55 feet. Again, square footage is about 40,000 square feet. The distance from the south side of the building to the southern property line, this is located across the railroad tracks, is about 236 feet. And to the nearest house, about 250 feet.
You want to grab the aerial to show the board, just so we can get them. Sure. And we'll mark that. We're going to mark this as A1 aerial. Okay, A1 is the aerial.
Can we go from here? Or?
Yeah.
Can I take this blank out?
Yes.
If you can't see this, let me know and I'll come closer. Existing treatment facility is here. That's that 10 million gallon storage tank. Their existing ozone facility is here. Their existing control building and plant is here. The new PFAS facility is here. That's at 39,000 square feet. Clarifier number 3 is located to the north of the new PFAS building. The wash water pump station, a small wash water pump station located to the east of the new PFAS facility. That pack silo that we're talking about is located to the east of the existing building. That's about 636 feet from the property line from to the east of it. And that pack silo is located about 375 feet to the property line on the south side.
The south side has the railroad tracks there.
Yes. Yep, railroad tracks. This is Amtrak, and New Jersey Transit runs the Northeast Corridor line through here. So there are houses to the south of those railroad tracks. So you have houses, you have the railroad tracks, you have trees, a fence, and then the existing treatment facility, and then this new PFAS facility located over here.
Okay, and Dave, could you just run your hand across the municipal borderline and then the SEGME property too, so everybody's oriented?
Sure. Highland Park and Edison border here. This is that SEGME warehouse constructed, I think 4 or 5 years ago is here. This is Cedar Lane. That new access road will be located here, going off to the SEGME property and Cedar Lane. So truck traffic will come down Cedar Lane, make a right or actually make a left off Cedar Lane into the private driveway of SEGME property, enter this access road and deliver that GAC media to this new PFAS facility, circulate around the PFAS facility, and then leave through that same access road out to Cedar Lane and eventually make its way up to 87. This new access road, we're repurposing an existing railroad embankment. There's an existing railroad embankment from Camp Kilmer from the World War II era. There's an existing embankment there, and we're essentially repurposing that embankment to a new access road for truck traffic. That access road is currently gravel. It will become paved, and that access road is currently used by Rutgers University to access two 24-inch twin corrugated storm sewers that convey stormwater flow from the north property to south of that embankment. So Rutgers vehicles and construction equipment currently utilize that access road, and again, it'll be repurposed to a new access road for our treatment plant.
Okay.
Any questions?
You can proceed, then we'll do questions at the end of your testimony.
Yeah. Okay. No issues with the stormwater comments in Mr. Carley's report?
No, we take no exceptions to those comments in the July 17th report.
No issues with any of the comments on sanitary sewer utilities in the report?
No concerns with that either.
Okay. We obviously have some lighting on the new road. Any issues with the comments in the report on that?
No issues with those.
Okay. Talk briefly about tree removal.
Tree removal on the Edison property, a total of 96 trees are planned to be removed within Edison. Majority of those, 76 of those, are greater than 4 inches but less than 16 inches. And the rest are between 18 inches and 29 inches. With that, we'll be planting 128 new trees and shrubs and landscaping on the CGO treatment plant property, as well as for new trees in front of the pack silo.
Let's just come back to the height of the buildings. and the variance relief. The one building that we noticed for the setbacks, that's an existing structure. We're not changing it. So, we were careful to notice for it, but nothing really happening to that. Existing unchanged condition, correct?
There's no work taking place on that?
Okay, so the only two other variances are for the height of the silo, the proposed silo. You want to get the site plan, and we'll show the board the, we could do the rendering. Okay. We're going to call this A2, the silo rendering. Dave, you offered some brief testimony. I want you to just flesh it out for a minute. We're at 55 feet approximately, 45 feet. What's driving the need for that extra 10 feet and the overall height on the silo?
Sure, wait till everyone gets a copy of the aerial. This view is from Fairview Avenue at the entrance to the CGO treatment plant. There's an existing slide gate, chain link fence there. So this is the view from that chain link fence.
Okay, and this is a photo simulation prepared by your office and under your direction?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the silo is simulated. Chairman, I'm sure you saw the cell tower applications that were popular years ago. So this is a simulation using technology to place it in there.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. So this is a otherwise real photo, but with the silo added in?
Imposed, correct.
Imposed, okay.
We're going to call it a photo simulation of silo.
The silo is shown in white, sort of in the middle above the tree in the center. To the left of that is the existing backwash storage tank. That pack silo has a proposed height of 55 feet, which is taller than the maximum height allowed of 45 feet. Purpose of that silo, again, is to hold this powder-activated carbon media to treat PFAS in the water. The goal is for that pack silo, in terms of the height, not to overdo truck access on that road delivering that pack media. So the size of that silo of 55 feet high was selected to minimize truck traffic going down Fairview Avenue. We're looking at delivery of pack media depending on water quality conditions and flow of about once every 2 weeks. If we're reducing that silo height, the reduction in height will drive up deliveries to get to a point where the water company may not be comfortable going that short period of time in between deliveries. So really the height of that silo is driven by the ability to get pack delivered in a timely fashion.
Okay, and so it's a balancing act to control the truck traffic and have enough materials to run the operation. A design issue there.
Correct.
Okay, and you mentioned that the silo is over 600 feet from the nearest property line.
I did.
So it could be seen if you're driving along Fairview, but it's really going to be in the horizon.
It'd be in the horizon. It's over about 650 feet to the fence to the silo shown in the figure.
Okay, and we have the proposed building. Can you just talk a little bit more about why Middlesex Water is seeking the height variance on the larger structure?
Sure.
Where that is, maybe you want to just point that out on the aerial again.
Sure. The PFAS building is located. It's located in the center bottom. This large building, about 300 feet long. There's a couple components of it. The GAC media will sit in really about 75% of it, and the small notch out here is a finished water pump station. There'll be some administrative offices to the west of that finished water pump station, but the majority of that building will contain these GAC contactors, or really big swimming pools with this GAC media in it. That swimming pool or contactors has a depth of about 30 feet. There's about 15 feet of GAC media in that. So the depth of those contactors is really driving the overall height of the building. From a hydraulic standpoint, flow from those GAC contactors flows by gravity to that new wash water pump station. So the height is a function of, again, another balancing act of depth of excavation to allow, to minimize excavation and to allow water to flow from those GAC contactors to the new finished water pump station by gravity.
In that building, it's 10 feet over what's permitted, but it's on the other side of the Amtrak New Jersey Transit train line. So there's, the buffer of the train line in between.
About 250 feet to the nearest building from the south side of the new PFAS building.
And so almost a football field away with the train tracks in between.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
I have nothing else.
No, Chairman, again, we read the 17-page review letter. No issues. We'll have to have some discussion on tree placement and buffer. Obviously, that's the kind of detail we feel we can work out.
Mr. Carley?
It's not 20 pages. I believe Mr. Tanzi's testimony really did touch all the bases on my report, which, as Mr. Skolnick relates, is lengthy, but it refines the design. It doesn't change the design that Mr. Tanzi presents to the board tonight, so the board can have confidence that the plans that are in front of it are essentially the plans that will be built. Mr. Skolnick, Mr. Tanzi, am I misspeaking?
You're not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Carley. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Tanzi? None? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chairman, I have a traffic engineer here, but I'm going to hold him to see what the board questioning and the public questioning is. He would just essentially say that a second means of access is going to be helpful and is appropriate from an engineering standpoint. But I'll hold him. I don't need him for my proofs, and we'll see where that goes, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm going to call my planner, Lorelei Totten.
Do you want me to take?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Lorelei Totten, Lorali, T as in Tom, Otten, 100 Reich Drive, Millstone Township, New Jersey, Crest Engineering Associates, Inc.
Ms. Totten, you have appeared before the board prior. If you could just give us a brief summary of your background and qualifications.
Yes, I graduated from Lehigh University with a Bachelor of Science in 1977. I secured my professional engineering license in 1983 and my professional planning license in 1986. And I have been testifying as a planner for 40 years. And
Your
they're
license are
both
current and good
still
standing?
Good standing. Excuse me?
License is current and good standing?
Yes, it
You may
is.
proceed. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Totten, you've looked at the variances in light of the ordinances, in light of the fact that we're a permitted use. You've looked at the master plan. Can you give the board the benefit of your analysis with the statutory criteria that's applicable for height variances?
Yes. With regard to height variances, we have two, the silo and the principal building for PFAS. They're both about 55 feet tall. So the proposed heights are dictated, as you just heard, by Mr. Tanzi and Mr. Carr, by the water treatment process itself. It's a balancing act, as was stated. The treatment vessels and associated equipment require that vertical clearance as a matter of engineering necessity. And the silo must be as tall as it is to function properly and to provide the right time frame in between deliveries to minimize trucks and provide adequate pack. The compliance with the mandatory state and federal PFAS drinking standards serves the public health, safety, and general welfare, as it is an inherently beneficial use. And the We are advancing the goal of the land use law to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use for development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote public health, safety, and morals and general welfare, which I think this this PFAS building and silo will do, and the height is required to do that. The additional height will not go against the purpose of the height limitation or be out of character with the site's existing previously approved industrial improvements. As noted, it's a 25-acre site. The site's already industrial. There is structures that are taller, 60 feet, as you heard, than the proposed structures. And that is the positive criteria. With regard to the negative criteria, there is no substantial detriment to the public good. These both facilities are located at least 600 feet away. The silo is actually 10 times its height away from the residence on Fairview, and 5 times its height from the residences on the other side of the railroad tracks, so that the mass of the silo and the building will not be apparent, which is what the height restrictions are for, to keep it from looking too large if it's too close to the property line. Also, there will be no shadows or anything that will extend over to the property lines on this, so it does not impact the air, light, and space.
Air, light, and open space, I think, is the term
Yes.
of art.
Yes. With regard to the intent and purpose of the LI zone plan, because the underlying use is water quality and is already a recognized permitted use, it is an inherently beneficial use. The height setback relief is confined to accommodating the mandated treatment upgrade rather than expanding or changing the use itself. And I think that is the end of, and as I stated before, the purposes of open space, light and air, as well as safety by virtue of distance, are maintained. So the benefits of granting the height variance outweigh the detriments of any part of the of this, because we're providing safe drinking water for the public.
Lorelei, we looked at a key case called Grasso, and that case talks about whether the proposal is going to be out of place in the neighborhood or degrade the appearance of the neighborhood or blocking street views or the skyline. Do we have anything like that here?
We do not. Both of the buildings and structures that exceed the height are far from both residential areas and the existing Fairview Avenue. They blend into, as you could see from that photo, the horizon of the rest of the existing industrial facility, which has been there parts of it since 1969 and as late as 2021, so that the public is used to looking at that scape as they come down Fairview.
We obviously have the Amtrak, New Jersey Transit line that provides an existing buffer with both trees and the train line itself.
That is correct. There is an existing buffer provided by that, and Amtrak itself is a fairly industrial-looking facility itself.
The silo that's over 600 feet or 2 football fields away from the closest property line.
That is correct.
And we also took a look at some buffering requirements. I think Mr. Carley had some comments on that. There are some buffering standards. We can work with the board staff on tree placement. No problem with that, given the scope of the project, to put additional trees in appropriate places to protect the closest neighbors to the extent feasible.
That is correct.
Chairman, I think that wraps it up for us on the affirmative case.
Okay. Ms. Knight, if you could review the Neglia report.
I just have a couple questions. So while we touched on this being an inherently beneficial use when dealing with D6 variances, we look at the site specifically and if the site can accommodate the additional height as opposed to what's permitted by the zoning. So is it in your professional opinion that this deviation is consistent with sound planning principles and kind of the purposes of the zoning Township of Edison?
Yes, it is. It is, as I stated before, they are both industrial buildings in an industrial setting. The site is large, so it can accommodate it. The distances to the closest residential, both on the east and the south side, are significant, and it's buffered a little bit by other structures that are on the site, as well as there is some existing trees, particularly along the northeastern corner of the property, and as was already stated, the trees that are along the corridor, the northeast corridor. So taking all these things into account, it is my opinion that the site can accommodate the extra height of these structures without having any detrimental effects on the surrounding properties.
Thank you, Ms. Naughton.
Welcome.
And of course, our extra height is only the 10 feet.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. Does the board have any questions for Ms. Totten? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Mr. Skolnick?
I don't have anything else right now,
Okay.
Chairman. Could we
Okay.
open it to the public?
Yes, sir.
maybe
All right,
to
so we'll
see,
know-
and then see where we end up?
We will now go out to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard. If you were within 200 feet, you received a notice via certified mail. Ma'am, you're gonna have to approach the microphone. First, should be sworn.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes,
Can you say your name and address for the record, please?
Joan Giles, Giles,
And your address?
76 Fairview Avenue. I'm sorry, 76? 76 Fairview Avenue. Okay, so
So if you just say your address again for this stenographer.
76 Fairview Avenue.
Thank you so much.
My first comment is, I think for a project this size, that 200-foot radius is not enough. I really don't know who else is here from my neighborhood. Is anybody here to speak except me? I'm the only one? Really? There should be more people here. More people are affected. In fact, there's a line of homes down one of the side roads. I don't know if they got a notice. And I don't think it's fair that for a project this size, that it's only 200 feet, because all of the residents on Fairview and Bartha Avenue are affected by this. So my first comment is I'm concerned about the environmental impact. They're going to take down a lot of trees. I heard that you say you were going to replace trees, but what size trees are you planting? You're taking down trees that are, 30 feet tall, and you're replacing them with 10-foot trees?
Dave, can you come up and try to answer the question? Take a microphone. You're still under oath, Dave. You understand that?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Giles?
Giles.
Giles asked about the size of the trees that are being taken down and the replacement trees.
Sure. 96 trees are planned to be removed. 76 of those are greater than 4 inches, but less than 16 inches. 8 of those are less than 18 inches. 7 of those are less than 21 inches. 1 of those is less than 24 inches. 3 of those are less than 27 inches, and 1 of those are less than 29 inches. We have a landscaping plan, which I can present if you'd like, but we were replacing with 128 new trees in accordance with Edison Township's ordinance.
So how, these are 3-foot trees? These 3-foot trees, that's what you're replacing?
80% of them are less than 16 inches, so less than a foot and a half.
You're taking down a forest and you're replacing them with seedlings? I mean, what kind of buffer is that going to have? Maybe 10 or 15 years from now, but right now there's it's not going to help us out. I live like 2 homes in from the plant. I have dust on my windows all the time from the work that you're doing down there. There's a, I don't know what building it is that was constructed next to the fence on Fairview Avenue that is right next to the house on the end of the block. And I took a look at that because I wanted to see what was going on down there. I don't know if it's a silo or what it is, but it goes from the gate all the way down the hill. So, I mean, that created such dust, and they painted it. There was a lot of debris around. Is this going to, all these silos and things that you're going to build, are they going to create that kind of mess again?
I'm not sure the exact project you're referring to. I know the water company painted a storage tank about 6 months ago. I'm not sure if that would have created dust or just painting the inside and outside of it.
So,
and the trees that are being the trees that are being removed are not in the vicinity of Fairview Avenue. They're more by the new access road, way to the west of the existing
You go
facility.
up and show her, Dave, where the tree removal is going to take place.
Most of the tree removal is, so this is Fairview. I don't know if you could see this. This is Fairview Avenue. This is the front entrance. So this is Fairview. This is the front entrance to the treatment plant.
What is that? What is that? Yeah, what is that there?
She was asking what this circular structure
Dave,
is.
go back, and so both the board and Ms. Giles could see what you're referring to there.
So this circular structure is a 10 million gallon water storage tank that holds potable water, and that water is pumped into the distribution system, which the residents of Edison and the water company service area drink.
So the size of that building, the silos and whatever else they're going to build, are they that size?
There's an existing backwash storage tank, which is located here.
Yeah, and that's...
This circle, that's a backwash storage tank. That backwash storage tank is 60 feet high. The silo would be located here. And
so that
silo
will be close to Fairview Avenue.
That will be closer to Fairview Avenue, and that silo is not as high as this backwash storage tank located here.
So all of those new buildings or silos are going to be near the railroad side of the property?
These buildings here is one building, this new PFAS building will be closer to the railroad tracks.
And
so this is really the main facility here. That's the large treatment plant that's being built.
Okay. And what about the environmental impact and the wildlife in the area where these trees are going to be removed?
Trees are back here, and the trees are being replanted in the same area.
But we're flexible working with the planner on the tree planting. So the idea is there's requirements and we're replanting, but we're flexible on where we put the trees as well. If you want trees near Fairview, and you could express that to the planner, and we're happy to work on a plan to the extent it's going to help Fairview, we don't mind.
We certainly need it because there were a lot of trees that were taken out. I mean, before I couldn't see to the next street because there were so many trees, and now there's nothing there. So we need more trees planted, replanted in there.
So noted.
Appreciate that comment.
Right. You know what? I think it was a waste of time for me to come here because I am not opposed to fresh water. But you know what's funny? We don't have Middlesex water. Fairview and Barth Avenue, we don't get Middlesex water. We have Edison water, which is American water. So we're taking all the heat on this and with no benefit.
I see Mr. Carr maybe
could-
disagreeing,
Yeah,
but
I could respond to that on behalf of the water company. Edison also purchases water
From
from
Middlesex.
Middlesex, and
So-
there's interconnections between New Jersey American and Middlesex. So you may be getting a combination of New Jersey American water and Middlesex water.
But you know what, it was really, this is a done deal. It was really a waste of time for me to come here. I said, this really was a done deal. It was a waste of time for me to come here because I don't think I made any impact. And I really think that for projects of this magnitude, that people within 200 feet of whatever they're doing need to be notified because it's not fair. I mean, I'm the only one that showed up.
Ma'am, thank you so much for coming out. The board appreciates you coming out. But just so you're aware, ma'am, just so you're aware, and our attorney can probably say this better with more belief than me, because I'm not an attorney, but the municipal land use law requires that they notice within 200 feet of their site. So that's the law, that they have to be within 200 feet. There's no requirement that it be beyond 200 feet. Mr. Salmon?
That's pretty good.
That was good, right? See?
Yeah, that's right. That is what the law says. It applies to all applications, and that way we can't discriminate against one over another by saying you have to do 500 feet, you have to do 600 feet, you have to do 200 feet. It's just a uniform standard across the board for everyone.
But thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. Is there anyone else within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Anyone outside of 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Last call. Seeing none. Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Patel, second by Vice Chairman O'Gorman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Skolnick?
Chairman, I'd like to try to solicit any comments, if there are any, from the board. We had discussed offline that I do need the 5 votes for an approval. We only have 5 voters here tonight. This is obviously a very significant project. I would like to have the opportunity to have at least 6 or 7. I've spoken with your staff who said they could get us on in August for a vote. If there are any concerns of the board, I'd certainly like to try to address those either tonight or have 1 minute to address those if we come back, if there are any.
Okay. Does the board have any concerns to address prior to being carried? Seeing none? Okay. Thank you. All right. So August 25th, Madam Secretary?
Yes, August 25th.
Because we're going to come back just for a 2-minute summation. Hopefully, we'll have an additional member or two.
Your lips to God's ears.
Okay. Hopefully, all the board members are at least planning on being here. We appreciate it's a tricky week. But we'll plan on being here.
Okay. All right.
August 25th with the usual announcement, Chairman.
Yep, so I'll put that on the record. So for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will be carried to Tuesday, August 25th, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. This case will be carried to Tuesday, August 25th at 7 p.m. And thank you very much, Mr. Skolnick.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a 2-minute recess. Let the next case is set up. The board will return to session. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda.
Case number amended Z8 2025 Sacred Foundation at 3880 Park Ave. Applicant is seeking to amend resolution of approval in such to remove the condition of approval, page 8, condition number 3A, which requires the permanent closure of ingress point located at Park Gate Drive. Affected property is located in the RI zone, designated as block number 593, lot number 1.35 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Smith and Mr. Prasad. Before I turn the floor over to you, I just wanted to say, so it's 9:52. The board usually will go till 10:30, so we're going to hold firm to that this evening. Okay.
We appreciate your flexibility.
Absolutely, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, Bob Smith, I'm a licensed attorney in the state of New Jersey. To my left is David Prasad, also with our office, in case I forget anything. And we're here tonight to amend a condition of approval that you were kind enough to grant the Sacred Foundation back in October of 2025. So a little 30-second background story, and that is that this year I was lucky enough to be able to go on vacation in February, and I had a chance to be in India for 17 days. During those 17 days, I traveled all over, and what I saw was a people who are devoutly religious, whether it was the Hindu population, the Sikh population, the Muslim population, unbelievably devout. And back here in New Jersey, I know as a person who goes to a lot of events in Middlesex County and surrounding, our South Asian population is no less religious. All right, and you know the temples that are all over central New Jersey and how well they're populated and how many people go to them. What you did in October of 2025 was tremendous. You recognized this use as an inherently beneficial use, which you should under the case law of the state of New Jersey. You're providing an opportunity for a religious group to practice their religion. And you also did it in Edison Township in an area where there may be a deficiency of those facilities available. So you did a great job. So why am I here? You did a great job except for one little thing. And that is back in in December of last year, the resolution of approval was passed, and it, in effect, neutered your decision to allow the religious use. And the reason that it stopped it is that it said that you had to block access on a gate into this property. And the problem with that is there are, and you're going to see this in a minute, and this is going to be brief, that there are already recorded agreements between Parkgate and our property owners requiring that they share the access. It can't be blocked. Number two, that we have our barrier-free access, and there's some medical uses in the building, are on that side of the building. So when you say you can only use the southern end of it for the whole building, that creates a major problem. Although, quite frankly, we've already agreed we're only going to use the south roadway. We have no problem with that whatsoever. So what we're asking, what we're here for, we're asking you to modify one of the conditions of the resolution, still protecting the intent of that section, but not in effect preventing the use from going forward. And the reason I say that, the way, as you know, the way a building department works in a town, they take out the resolution and they go down it line by line before they give you a building permit. You can come in and apply for it, but you got to follow the resolution. The resolution says that this gate has to be blocked. And we do not own the property. Sacred Foundation are tenants. We have a lease to use the property, but the landlords have indicated clearly that they need that opening open for, especially for the barrier-free access and for the medical use. So we're asking for a modification. So a little brief outline of the application, just to remind you of what you did and what's in the application. So Sacred Foundation is a New Jersey nonprofit. We're seeking an amended approval of application number Z08-2025. You were kind enough to give us a use variance under NJSA D-70D1 to allow a religious house of worship in the R1 zone, RI zone, where such use is not permitted. There were no other variances created. And tonight we're seeking to modify one condition. That condition is 3A of the resolution of approval, to remove language requiring the applicant to permanently close the access on Park Gate Drive. And additionally, we're proposing a more robust replacement. So that you'll still get the intent of that condition, but you'll do it without violating the filed recorded easement or creating problems for the medical use that's currently in the building. So that's what we're here for. Let me remind you that this is a 2,800 square foot use. The building is 65,000 square feet. 2,800 out of 65,000. We are anticipating, and we testified at the last hearing, that there are approximately 40 congregants every day, spread out throughout the entire day, and they stay there when they visit for approximately 15 minutes per visit to pray or meditate. We understand that there were some concerns by the Parkgate community, but our professional testimony during the October 2025 hearing concluded that the impact of the proposed religious use would be insignificant and less intense than if the permitted industrial use were to become a tenant at the building. And we agreed that religious and family events would be held off-site so as to not interfere with the residences at Parkgate or any of the other businesses in the neighborhood. You may remember, and you quoted it, your resolution of approval, which is part of the record in this, the testimony from Mr. John Ray, the licensed professional engineer, our traffic expert, and he testified on behalf of the application. He indicated that peak hour traffic counts were conducted in June of 2025 and that he personally visited the site around 5 p.m., which is the afternoon peak hour. On average, the temple would add 4 to 5 congregants per hour over a typical day. During the peak hour, the assumption is that there would be about 10 congregants going in and out of the site. He indicated there are over 2,000 cars going through the intersection of Park Avenue and Park Gate Drive during the peak hour. And this was, that you put this in the resolution. This was his quotation. In the worst case scenario, this application will add 0.5% of traffic to the peak rush hour. Therefore, this application will not have a significant impact on traffic conditions in this area. The issues are that the memorialized resolution imposed a condition to require that the applicant permanently close the ingress and egress point that exists on Park Gate Drive, which is condition 3A. That's the condition we're looking to revise. And subsequent to the approval, the applicant has had discussions with the landlord to close Park Gate Drive access. However, the landlord is not willing to close the access point because there is a 1982 recorded agreement submitted in this application and also in the application in 2025 governing the access. And since this is a condition of the approval, the applicant will not be able to obtain permits or operate until the landlord agrees to close the access. That's the problem. You put a condition on us that we can't solve. We don't own the property. We're tenants at the property. The only one who can say yes to closing an access is the landlord, and the landlord, we've had the discussions, the landlord is saying, no, we have a medical use in the building, and we need that access because that's where the barrier-free access is on that side of the building. In the alternative, at the October 2025 hearing, we agreed to prohibit all of our members of our congregation from utilizing Park Gate Drive and to direct all traffic to the ingress-egress point on the southern side of the property, which is also contained in the resolution as condition 3. So what we're proposing to you, very simple proposal. Take the old resolution at 3A, modify it as follows. And by the way, this language, just so you know, always try to come into a board meeting where We've run things up the flagpole with council to make sure we're doing this as effectively as we can do it. So the language that we thought was robust and still gets you where you want to be is as follows, quote, Sacred Foundation, the applicant, including its members, congregants, invitees, and any other persons associated with or utilizing the religious nonprofit use of the property located at 3880 Park Avenue, shall be strictly prohibited from using Park Gate Drive for ingress and or egress in connection with access to or from 3880 Park Avenue. All such persons shall only utilize the southern driveway connecting directly to Park Avenue for all vehicular ingress and egress. The applicant shall take all reasonable measures, including permanent signage, internal controls, regular oral and written announcement to members, congregants, and invitees, or any other persons associated with or utilizing the nonprofit use of this property located at 3800 Park Avenue to avoid using the Park Gate Drive to ensure ongoing compliance with this condition. Conditions subject to a 6-month look back. When does an applicant say to you, we want to give you an insurance policy? Come back in 6 months and see that we're obeying the conditions. If we aren't, you have the right to call us back in and do whatever you have to do, but you're not going to have that problem. This is a religious organization that wants to locate its worshiping at this location, and they'll live by the rules. They've agreed to live by the rules, so let's give them that opportunity. And I'd also point out for the record that that condition does not in any way violate the recorded agreement. So we get ourselves out of trouble with the recorded agreement. We achieved the intended consequence, which was to keep the new religious traffic, Sacred Foundation, from the Park Gate Drive street. And we get a situation where your building department can grant a building permit. Right now, we're in limbo because the building department is saying you haven't lived up to the condition of closing the gate, which the landlords will not allow us to do. You put a condition on us that we can't fulfill. We're not the owners of the property. We think this is the right way to get around it. And I'd also note that all of the conditions in your prior approval still apply. So, for example, no food or kitchen will be permitted on the premises. That's 3B. Hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's condition 3C. Condition 3D, no large events or holidays on sites. Such events will be held off-site. So you have a religious group that is playing by the rules, and we're asking that you not negate what you originally did. You did in another religion, it would be called a mitzvah. You did a mitzvah, allowing the group to practice their religion. Very low impact religion, very low impact use of the site. But you made a condition that stopped them from moving in. And that's why we're asking you to revise it. And we think you'll get all the control you wanted using that mechanism. And that, Mr. Chairman, is our case. Very minor modification.
Great. Thank you very much. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Smith? See none? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So, Mr. Smith, so we'll now go out to the public. So I'll just remind the public that we are going to have a hard stop this evening at 10:30 p.m. So we'll open up anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Damon Kress, D-A-M-O-N-K-R-E-S-S. I'm an attorney with McGovern Legal. We're counsel for the Park Gate Condominium Association. And I'm here to strenuously object to any modification of the conditions regarding Park Gate Drive. The condition included in the board's resolution was intentionally included to protect the association's and its residents' interest in ensuring that Park Gate Drive is not used as a general entrance or exit to the property where the Sacred Foundation is intending to conduct business, consistent with the easement agreement between the association and the building owner. Now, I want to point out that the association also objects to any purported testimony by the applicant about the barrier-free needs that Park Gate Drive represents. Mr. Smith is not a fact witness here. He's not sworn to testify. He has no personal knowledge about what the building owner's needs are for the property. If he wanted to present that evidence, he should have had that building owner here to make that proper record. Second, the condition in the application is not some unfair limitation placed on the applicant, because the applicant was standing in the shoes of the property owner when the applicant applied for this variance. The property owner had to give assent to the applicant to stand in their shoes because they do not own the property. So the limitation on that easement or the restriction of that use is perfectly lawful, given that the applicant is standing in the shoes of the landlord. Third, the applicant can't make promises for what its congregants will or will not do. I know they'd like to in order to get their approval, but they can't. Those are completely independent individuals who are not subject to the resolution of approval, and realistically, there is no practical enforcement mechanism within the resolution to ensure those congregants comply with whatever modified restrictions the board might consider. So with that, I would obviously leave time for the homeowners to express their frustrations about any attempted modification of that restriction in this ordinance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kress. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Ma'am?
If you could raise your right hand, please.
Good evening.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Elena Siniaski, Elenasiny, AV is in Victor, SKY, 26 Carriage Place, and I've lived in Parkgate for the last 24 years. Less than a year ago, after hearing testimony from the applicant, traffic experts, township professionals, and residents, this board determined that the north entrance should remain permanently closed for entry and exit. Today, I have not heard any material change in circumstances that justifies removing that condition. Parkgate Drive remains the only entrance and exit for our community. Drivers who are unfamiliar with the area can become confused by the traffic pattern. Keeping the north entrance open would introduce additional traffic onto the one road that every resident relies on. I experienced that firsthand. Not long ago, I was driving on Parkgate Drive when an Uber driver used the north entrance instead of the designated exit while leaving the Park Avenue property. He accelerated directly into my path and came dangerously close to hitting my car. Fortunately, no one was injured, but it showed me how easily confusion at that location can create a dangerous situation. I would also like to point out something in the board's own resolution approving this application. The resolution specifically states the applicant will ensure the Parkgate Drive access must be permanently closed for both ingress and egress. That was one of the conditions the applicant accepted in order to receive this approval. This board heard testimony from the applicant and its traffic experts before imposing that condition. And much of what I have heard tonight is the same testimony that the board has already considered when it made its decision less than a year ago. The applicant was a tenant when the condition was adopted, just as they are today. If complying with the condition proved difficult, that does not change why the board imposed it. It imposed it to protect public safety. I understand that keeping this condition in place may make it more difficult to lease the Park Avenue property. However, I do not believe that private business interests should outweigh the public safety concerns that led this board to impose this condition in the first place. I also heard the reference to the medical tenant in the building. While the laboratory may now advertise walk-in services, I have not heard about how that changes the public safety concerns that led this board to require permanent closure of the north entrance. Today, the applicant is asking the board to remove one of the very conditions that made this application acceptable in the first place. Based on what I have heard tonight and my experience as a resident, I do not believe there has been a material change in circumstances that justifies removing that condition. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the board to deny the applicant's request and preserve the condition requiring the north entrance to remain permanently closed. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next member of the public wants to be heard.
Robert Yanazzo, Yannazzo, 27 Carriage Place. I've been a resident.
I'm sorry, could you just raise your right hand, please?
Oh.
Do you swear or affirm, it's okay, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can continue, thank you.
I've been a resident of Parkgate for 21 years. When Ariba was there, we have no problems whatsoever. When this application was granted by this board, and I was here for that application, the medical facility that the witness mentioned earlier was not there. I can attest to the fact that I am a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey designates architects for life safety and makes them responsible for the life safety. I have seen incidences since Ariba has left where this owner disregards what is there. People have gone, since that medical facility has gone in there, people have left the wrong way. I stood there when the guard had to signal a woman because she was crossing in front of the guard station going to the inn portion. She was going to turn right and she would have hit somebody coming into our development. That is what we explained when we were here at the previous application, which nothing has changed. We expressed the desire to keep our community safe. This board acknowledged that there were safety issues, and that's why that stipulation was put there. Prior to that, I had seen before the medical facility was in there and the building was not being utilized that well, I had seen people coming around in front of the guardhouse and racing into that property. That is why both the entrance and the exits should be canceled. It should be permanently closed. We have a easement there with a light industrial. This owner is changing that. And what this board effectively did was a change in use. And I do commend the board for doing that for a beneficial use. But that doesn't forego the life safety of the residents and the life safety of the people using that property too. Because that woman could have been killed if she had gone into the car coming into our entrance. This is why this is important, and this is why the board needs to decline their application for rethinking what this board so elegantly did when they did that. You have to remember, they're a tenant. And as our attorney said, they had full use of the owner. The owner has to apply. As an architect, I've applied. As chief architect for Hudson County, I was an owner with tenants. And I made sure that that met code and everything else before the tenant went. And that I took no exemption to that. And the same thing is here. That owner allowed the tenant to come here and present in front of you, and you saw fit that for the safety of our community to grant that restriction. And there should be no second guessing of that. The safety of the Edison residents is the most important thing in land use. And that's what you were here for, land use. They're not asking for a bulk use like previous people. They're not asking for any of that. They're asking on the benefit, on the behalf of the owner. Don't think they're fooling you by saying that they can't go into there. The owner is the one that put them there, that allowed this tenant to go in front of this board. So again, do not go against what your initial reaction for the life safety of the residents of our community are. And even consider trying to keep those open. It is an unsafe condition, and as an architect, I can attest to the fact that it is an unsafe condition. I saw 2 incidences, and I've seen plenty more, and I've heard of more from the community.
Thank you very much. Next member of the public wanting to be heard within 200 feet.
Hello, I spoke to this board some time back.
I'm sorry.
I'm raising my hand to say, yes, I will tell the truth and only the truth.
I have to say it anyway. Dan, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Say it again?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Okay. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Okay, my name is Dr. James Hanlon. I live at 82 Parkgate Drive. I've been there 20 years. I was educated have a PhD from Columbia University. My background has been as a superintendent of schools in New York State, 3 schools, 25 years. And I'm saying, as I said the last time, what I see here is a problem that's going to happen. You're going to have a situation where someone is going to be injured, and it's often possibly going to be a kid. And even though, and I remember this from the last time, the officer came in and looked at the egress and opening of that area, the parking there when school is out. But school is out at all different times. He wasn't there at noon. He wasn't there at later in the day. The danger here is it's going to be on you guys if you do this. Guaranteed. It's an accident waiting to happen. I don't think you want that on your conscience. As a superintendent, I saw many, many mistakes that schools made in New York State, and they always regretted that they did not listen and did not follow up on the safety things that needed to be done in order to secure kids. And you have to look at this. There's a number of young kids there. They come at different times. They're loaded down with instruments. They're fooling around. They're joking around because kids are kids. And it's teenagers from kids who are 6, 7, 8 years old. Now, I'm going to say this. You don't want this on your conscience if something were to happen. And I'm telling you, it will happen. I've seen a lot of schools. I've done a lot of work with schools in terms of safety. And you're putting yourself in a very, very dangerous situation. And the speaker before me clearly let it out. I know when I walk up there, if I go up through that gate, when the kids come in, and I do that often, because I take my dog and so forth out there, it's chaos. And many of the drivers that come in have no respect for kids, or no respect that this is a community that is an educational community in the best sense. People come here because they want good education. And Edison has a terrific reputation as an educational school and area. And this is just, as I say, avoid the danger not yet come. And I will underline that. I appreciate what you've done so far, and I thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much. Next member of the public want to be heard within 200 feet.
Douglas Way, 3895 Park Avenue.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Okay.
W-E-H. W-E-H. The only reason I'm here today, I don't really care if they close it off or don't close it off. I live directly across the street from the entrance exit of the building. They were supposed to put up signs, no left turn, no right turn. That has to be done.
Sir, please speak into the mic so we have it all on record.
Okay. Yeah, that has to be done with the signs. It doesn't matter if they close it off to me. Simple solution for that would just close off on the island, just close it off, and then no one will have to say anything. I believe in everything everybody else said, but there's going to be a lot more accidents right in front of my house. There were 6 already this year. Telephone knocked down 3 times already. Did some damage to my house, did some damage to my car. Who's going to be responsible for that? I mean, he's saying it's only 40 people, so 40 people, 6 cars a day, 7 cars a day. It's not, I'm against the whole thing totally. So I'm glad that you did put that in the amendment, and I'm glad they're trying to fight it out, and I hope they don't win. That'd be it.
Thank you very much. Next resident within 200 feet. Excuse me? I didn't see a line. Nobody said a line. Okay, you just said a line. Did you? Ma'am.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Can you say your name and address for the record, please? And you probably need to bring the microphone down.
Sure. My name is Rinki, and I live at 47 Gatehouse Lane in Parkgate. So, sure. Rinki Singh, R-I-N-K-I, Singh, S-I-N-G-H. So good evening, Chairperson, members of Zoning Board, and the residents. My name is Rinki Singh, and I live at 47 Gatehouse Lane in Parkgate. I also serve as District 5 Democratic Committee woman. Tonight I am speaking both as a resident and on behalf of many residents in the Parkgate community. And thank you so much whoever came here and talk about our problem that we are already facing, and the future is going to be a lot more. So first I want to make one thing very clear, that we are not here to oppose temple or its activities. We welcome all faiths and respect every organization right to serve community. Our request tonight is much narrower. We are simply asking that condition 3A, which was part of the original approval, remain in place because we believe it continues to protect public safety and our neighborhood. I had the opportunity to review the historical document related to this property, and one thing became very clear. More than 40 years ago, in 1982, when Park Place Mews was being developed as a residential community, the owner of Park, Stevenson Speaks, entered the detailed agreement regarding access of this property. The arrangement carefully planned how vehicles will enter and exit the property. It required the northern driveway to be closed once the new entrance was constructed, restricted truck traffic, and clearly defined how traffic would flow. It also addressed maintenance, insurance, responsibility related to this access point. To me, this shows the traffic circulation and the safety were thoughtfully considered from very beginning. These were not an accidental decisions. They were intentional planning decisions. Today, those same concerns still exist. Parkgate has only one entrance and one exit. Every day, our residents use that entrance. Children wait there for school buses. Families walk through that area, residents exercise, walk their dogs, and emergency vehicles rely on the same access point. Opening this entrance to additional traffic would increase congestion and create unnecessary safety concerns to everyone who lives in our community. The board previously imposed condition 3A for a reason. We respectfully believe those reasons remain just as valid today as they were when condition was adopted. On behalf of the resident of Parkgate, I respectfully request that board preserve condition 3A and deny the request to remove it. Before I leave, I want to ask 3 questions for board to think about. Has anything changed since the original approval that makes condition 3A unnecessary? What new evidence shows that public safety would be improved by removing it? Why should a condition that has protected traffic circulation for years be removed now? Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next resident within 200 feet.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you
I
swear
do.
or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Nicholas Vezard, V-E-Z-A-R-D. A-R-D, V-E-Z-A-R-D.
Sir, you need to take off the mic, speak closer.
I'll just hold it. So, good evening. My name is Nick Vezard. I live at 45 Parkgate Drive. Before addressing the application, I would like clarification on the notification process. As I said, I live within the 200 feet. Last year, I received a mailed notice because of my address. This year, neither I nor my close neighbor, even closer to that place, received one. I would like an explanation on that, why it occurred, and whether the notification requirements were fully satisfied. I want to be clear that my concern is not about the proposed use of the property itself. A place of worship can certainly be a positive addition to the Edison community. My concern, like the other people before, is about traffic safety and increased congestion at the intersection of Park Avenue and the North Park entrance. There is already significant congestion at that intersection during the mid to late afternoon. The traffic experts saw things that are not very real, I believe, and whatever these rules are put in place, there will be more people going through this entrance. You can give all the instructions you want. These people are free to come in one way or the other. So as traffic builds, drivers will become impatient. There will be more statistics about risks of accident, and it will make unsafe decisions. So less than a year ago, while leaving Parkgate, I narrowly avoided a head-on collision when a van traveling on Park Avenue turned into the north entrance against the designated traffic pattern, came directly toward me, and we were fortunate to avoid a serious accident. More traffic, more statistics, accident will happen. I'm sorry, it's just how it goes. I described that incident to this board in the last hearing. The board made a decision based on traffic safety concern. Since then, my concerns have not diminished. In fact, I have continued to witness additional near-miss situations involving drivers entering and exiting this Park Avenue property. I've heard similar concerns from immediate neighbors as well. These incidents show that despite the existing signs and traffic controls and instructions, drivers who are not familiar with this area are still becoming confused. Reopening the north entrance for entry and exit will create more opportunities for those kinds of incidents to occur. To my knowledge, nothing has changed since the board decision last October that would make this location safer than it was then. If anything, activity at the site has already increased, including the addition of walk-ins welcome signs by the Avantic blood testing lab, this medical location. They are calling for people to not drive in, and they are driving in the wrong way. So adding more traffic is just going to be a total headache. Parkgate Drive remains the only entrance and exit for our community. Residents rely on it every day. What we do not need is a substantial increase in traffic using that entrance. It's reasonable to expect that attendance at the proposed facility will grow. Whatever we've heard tonight, it will grow over time as the congregation grows. If that happens, the traffic and safety concerns of the north entrance are also likely to increase. For all these reasons, I respectfully ask the board to maintain the existing condition requiring the North Parkgate entrance to remain closed for entry and exit. I believe that continuing to prioritize public safety, like you did, is the most responsible course of action. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much, sir. So given the time of night and the amount of public that still want to speak, so we're going to seek Mr. Smith to carry this case for another evening.
Would you indicate, Mr. Chairman, what night we're talking about?
I got to refer to my boss. Madam Secretary.
So we have August 25th available, if you want to carry there, or we can go to September 22nd, which is a more free night.
August the 25th works.
Okay. All right.
That would be at 7 p.m.?
7 PM, so, okay, so this case will be carried to Tuesday, August 25th, with the meeting beginning at 7 PM here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. Folks, I know there's a considerable crowd that's here that has not spoken yet. You will have an opportunity to speak at the next hearing. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you so much for your patience with us. Madam Secretary, any other business come before the agenda? I'm sorry, come before the board this evening?
That'll be all for this evening.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.